business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
I got hairy legs.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the show on a stormy Friday. I'm your host, Joey Clark, and my two friends are here, colleagues, whatever we want to call them. We have Eddie Bader. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. How you doing, bro?
And we have Craig Monger. How you doing, Craig?
I'm a bit soggy, Joey.
Yeah, you got stuck in the storm.
Yeah, I had to move a down tree, and
Really?
and obviously just the traffic in and of itself. It's one of the worst things about living in the country is when it storms, something like this is bound to happen.
What, did you have to use a winch?
No, I had to use these pythons.
Got the guns out, baby.
All right. I'm impressed. Could you kill a lion with a hug?
No. I have squishy shoes, though.
Squishy shoes.
Squishy
Yeah,
shoes?
you know when your shoes
Oh,
get
waterlogged?
I feel it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
toe jam later on.
Yeah, it's great.
So-
I'm my feet are brining as we speak.
Right.
So, how's everybody doing today?
Well, for a rainy day, yeah.
Just peaches and cream.
Yeah, enough for a rainy day. I think you're right, Eddie. And so I didn't notice. I was blissfully unaware until I woke up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
What happened at the public library in Prattville last night?
You, buddy.
Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Ah.
I was at the board meeting. I did not make it to the library because I was unaware that there was going to be some sort of kerfuffle. But certain aspects of the media that are a bit friendlier, shall we say, to a particular side, seem to have gotten some sort of advance notice. And in fact, one reporter was actually allowed in the building when the library employees locked the doors. He was still inside.
Oh, no, that's not good.
No, well, I mean, and funnily enough, when the chairman of the board, the library board, showed up to deal with the kerfuffle, he was actually having to shuffle him out and get him out. And that's whenever the police got called because he apparently opened a door that struck someone and they cried foul or assault.
Now, this chairman, I think, is the name correct? Is it, you know the guy named Ray Bowles, Eddie?
I didn't know, Ray.
Yeah, I think we know. That's the same Ray Bowles that calls into the show every day. Wow. And so this one quote here is, what, police are called to the scene.
Yes.
And so here we're quoting Ray Bowles. Jacob Holmes was in the building, and I told him to get out so we could talk to the employees because they had closed the building down with him in the building. When I went to open the door, there was a lady beside the door that I did not see, and the door hit her when I opened the door. Fortunately, both of them had recordings and called the police department. They all looked at the recordings and said, he didn't do that maliciously. He didn't even see you. You can tell he was looking at the fat dude. So what started all of this? Why the kerfuffle? Why the hullabaloo?
Okay, so the Prattville Library Board since, gosh, I can't even remember when it was, last year. It's going on a year now that this has been drama, that your boy was the first one to write on. And it was people that were concerned about LGBTQ plus and just sexually explicit in general books. And then two sides immediately formed. There were the pro side and there was the against side. And just about every city council meeting or county commission meeting has had this addressed ever since, with people showing up to give their various sides. So the Prattville Library Board has been completely remade since that time. There's not a single original member since this whole thing started that's on the board, nor was the library director who was just fired. He came after the former director resigned at the beginning of this whole thing. So the library board has been completely remade, and they hired Laura Clark, who I believe is still heading up the Alabama Center for Law and Liberty.
Oh, yeah, I've talked to her a few
times.
Yeah,
Yes, very, very nice woman, very nice lady. And so they have her as a attorney, and the board is working on getting rid of the books or relocating them or removing them. Now, the particular reporter that was mentioned here, his reporting on this situation has feigned or tried to, in almost a conspiratorial tin hat way, sort of shine a dim light on what they're doing, as if there's some sort of ambiguity or chicanery in what they're doing. And it's actually kind of hard to follow because he's making connections that I just don't see.
Right.
So anywho, he requested, he did a public records request for this library director, Andrew Foster, in which he delivered information from Laura Clark between the board members, which is, I believe, technically classified as privileged, attorney-client privileged information. On top of that, he was also recording executive session meetings,
Which is illegal. In the state.
illegal.
Yeah.
And so that is why they fired him. And obviously the people that, it goes to show you what because it very much seems like he has been in, shall we say, cahoots with the people that want to keep the books on the shelves. As you can see from the bevy of support that came after him and these library employees that also supported him. So if you're someone who doesn't want these books in the Prattville Library, it seems like the board made the correct choice.
Right. And so after the firing, like they went into executive session for 15 minutes, come out, we've made our decision, you know, turn in your keys, your badge, these sorts of things. And that's when certain employees decided to lock the library.
Correct. They said, we're still showing up because this is our job, but we're locking the doors. And the video that I shared from a live stream where the employee was in tears at the door talking about how they were supporting Andrew Foster and they're not going to open up. They're going to still show up to work, but they're not going to open up the doors. Well, Ray Bowles said, nah. And he showed up and put the kibosh on that. And now 4 library employees have been fired.
Now, I was told by Ray that one is back today and actually apologized. They hugged, made up, and she has her job.
Well,
back.
God bless. That's, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, and so, and I think another might have come back too, but 2 stay home.
They had that, but as of last night, I think they had over 10 volunteers who were like, we'll show up and get the thing running.
Cool.
And they're putting more hours for the part-time folks too,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. So there's the fact is it's a very, very loud gaggle of the most unimpressive people you could ever meet that are on the side of keeping the books. And in the live stream video that I showed you, you can actually hear one gentleman who's a frequent member there, just pitiful to behold. But he unironically, when this tearful woman was giving her diatribe at the door, said, "Yes, queen." Unironically.
He said it wasn't yes, queen.
It wasn't it was yes, queen, like that. And you can from my mimicking of him just now, you can develop your own impressions of him. But it's one of the very few people, just completely pitiful and unimpressive specimens that regularly attend these meetings and say whatever. And I mean, the ringleader of the Read Freely Alabama, who, you know, they found people in the media that are very friendly to them and are willing to hang on every word they have to say. If they put out a statement, I'll do it, but I'm not going to. You're sort of irrelevant to the discussion, and in fact, the leader of it, Angie Hayden, has been. She's hilariously unintelligent and unerudite, but she's harassed me personally so much that I've blocked her email.
Now,
so it's preposterous.
To get back to the actual source of all this.
Yeah.
What is the status of sexually explicit books, LGBTQ books there at the library?
Well, they've moved some, removed some, and they're going through the process of working through, I think it's like 113 titles that they're addressing right now.
Right.
I'm not sure what the status is of those because, again, Foster, the library director, in his communications, it seemed like he was, I don't want to say he was being obstinate, but he seemed to have been stating there was ambiguity where I didn't see that any existed. There was a lot of semantic discussions over the difference between weeding and removing and what the process is required to remove and authorities. The problem is people are wading into an area now where the rules haven't needed to be this clear.
Right.
Because it's just a library.
Some might be moved to just a different like adult section. Yes. Some might be taken out altogether.
And again, I'm not entirely sure about what the differences are because you have people now going through these processes with a fine-tooth comb where they have never had to before. So I'm sure that in the bylaws and the rules that there may be some ambiguity. Again, I'm not clear, but it certainly seems to me to be the case that the library board is utilizing their discretionary prerogatives in an appropriate and lawful way. At least now, if I'm wrong about that, I'm sure there will be lawsuits and I'm sure that will be settled in courts. But from my perspective, it seems that they're handling it at least within the scope of their authority, despite the fact that people are claiming otherwise.
Now, when all the hullabaloo was going down, did anybody go, shh, it's a library?
No. Again, I wasn't there. I wasn't informed that this was going to be happening. I got my information from other people that were there, Ray, obviously, and looking at the live stream and the videos. So I wasn't actually there, but it was hilarious. After they voted to fire Foster, the zoo noises that are common to come from this particular group of people were ringing out. And it's hilarious, and I talked to Ray about this. They are they seem to not be aware of how utterly unthreatening they are because they try to be loud and rambunctious and like, oh, you'll be hearing from us. Ray does not care.
No,
dude, I'm telling you, I think I told him on the phone, just don't remind me never to get on your bad side because he's formidable.
Yeah, no, he's a good friend, we'll say. Not just a good sponsor of the show, but good friend. We've gotten to know him, and I'm not surprised by any means. And, I mean, Eddie, when's the last time you went to a public library?
Last time I had to pee real bad, and there was...
Really?
Yeah. When's the last time?
Why don't you just go outside?
Live and learn, Joey. Live and learn. A little cheaper to go to the library.
Right.
It's an odd discussion here, and obviously I think it's relevant to the space camp discussion that I'm sure we'll get to. But there seems to be particular spaces that a lot of people weren't really paying that much attention to, where people with a specific ideology have seemed to have found refuge for a long period of time. Archives is a big one.
Yeah,
Archives in history and libraries is another one.
Well, and let's shift to the space camp story because we didn't cover this every day in detail. We more got into the hypothetical. If you're that dad, if you're that parent, what do you do? And I think my main takeaway is you could call a father, particularly that one, whatever you want. The guy, I think, doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be looking out for his kid. The one thing I was wondering, though, in terms of the actual details, is the person in question... were they actually in the dorms, like in the private spaces?
I am currently setting up a discussion with someone who very quickly, under the original posting that went viral, claimed that this specific person came into the shower area of the girls to tell them to hurry up. So I'm going to be getting the details of that particular interaction. As far as Space Camp, they are on the lam. Their employees are underground as far as I'm concerned. They're not responding to communications. They're not answering questions. They're hiding out the storm.
Well, I was told by a pretty good source that I won't disclose that like the dressing, like in the bathing areas, showering areas, they all actually have individual doors. So they're looking for discretion anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about kids coming from all over, of different ages, from all over the world.
Yeah.
So the idea that you actually have private bathroom showers, these sorts of things make sense to me. But it is an area. There's dorms. There's in that whole area. And I just would wonder... is that sort of allegation true? That just was the one thing that wasn't clear to me.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll get more details as we're going through. We'll see. I think, it's akin to say a college dorm that's not co-ed. Even if there's obviously private, for the most part, there's private showers. Each like dorm has its own shower. Even if it's 4 people to a room, that room has a shower.
Right.
Regardless of that level of privacy, anyone who's walked onto a male's college dorm room understands that there's a level of intimacy there. And there's a reason why, even though you have individual rooms, you'll have male buildings and female buildings.
Right.
At the very, very least, you'll have male floors and female floors, which is what Space Camp does. It has individual floors based on the sexes. And there is just a level of intimacy and a level of, the word's escaping me, but you use a level of modesty that does not exist when you are in a space designed specifically for your sex. Right. And I think that's the concern. No matter what regulations and rules you have, you shed certain social mores when you're in a female or a male only space, as anyone who's ever existed in one can tell you. Yeah. So I think that's the concern. If you have a biological male that's just, even if they're not technically going into the shower area, if they're spending time in that space, then there's at least the potential for impropriety.
Well, and this probably wouldn't have been an issue at all if not for all the social media posting.
Well, correct. As with most of these things, it wouldn't have been a big deal at all. But my question is because you've seen several people since, not just this woman that I'm attempting to talk to, that talk about this specific individual, but just general stories about what their kids reported when they came back from space camp. And I'm like, why has this not been addressed? And I'm actually hearing that the parents that have tried to address it with space camp leadership have essentially been brushed off.
Well, I think it's a shame at the end of the day, because I think space camp's a huge asset for the state. I have fond memories of it myself. And but you're seeing fallout like Coleman City Schools offering 75% space camp refunds for some students after all this went down.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder what's the fallout abroad, because again, this is an international institution. You got a lot of folks from all over the country, all over the world that show up here. So
yeah, and that's why Tommy Tuberville was the first person to say anything public. For those people who unfortunately on social media seem to think that I instigated this entire thing, my story came out after Tommy Tuberville released a statement about it, based not on any news story. I was the first news story to come out about it because the rest of the media are gatekeeping cowards. But a sitting United States senator was responding to just some guy's Facebook post that kept getting shared around. So the story was there, and it obviously required attention. Now, what can they do? I don't know, because you can't just not hire someone as it stands simply because of their gender identity, although that is attempting to be addressed legislatively as we speak. Susan DuBose has a bill, for instance.
I think wasn't it Justice Neil Gorsuch who wrote that expanded opinion, where essentially expanded the definition of a protected class, like he read into it.
Yeah, and the thing
at the federal level.
And the thing with that SCOTUS opinion is that it says that you can't terminate the employment of someone. It does not say that you can't limit the scope of what their duties are.
Right. Well, and then it goes back to what you're publicly posting on social media.
Yeah.
For instance, I'd imagine all the crazy crap I've said on these airwaves and all the crazy stuff I've probably posted sometimes when I'm a little intoxicated, there would be parents who would have an issue with, like, I'm not letting that Joey Clark guy, like, teach my kids. So, and I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, if somebody feels that strongly about it, okay, fine.
Right.
There are standards of employment, and it's just, like, there's a lot more to this story, so good luck with the investigating.
Certainly trying.
And there's all sorts of stuff going on in the world and the country. Fani Willis, she gets to stay on the case.
Yeah.
But Nathan Wade, he's out.
He's got his money, though, right?
I say poor guy, but I just remember seeing him getting grilled on the stand. I'm like, oh, no.
How's he the poor guy? He got the girl and the money.
Yeah.
And he's done.
And now he don't have to work.
Walk away.
Yeah. It's not like he got charged with a crime.
Yeah,
Poor
but that's
guy.
going to cause some problems in the old at the old dinner table. It's like, 'cause even if
Yeah, that's true now.
Even if he
That's true.
tells her, like, hey, baby, I understand you got to do what you got to do, there's always going to be in the back of his mind, you chose the case over me.
And it does sound like he was constantly trying to be like, I'm the man, I'm paying for this. And then she's like, no. I'm not letting you do. So she would give him the cash. That's what it seemed like to me.
Cash.
So he's playing his best Theon Greyjoy impression as we speak.
Oh, what an awful scene in Game of Thrones.
This is going to make it even worse, I think.
And then we have the Politico, of all places, sounding the alarm for Democrats. There may be 0 Trump trials before the election. Or it could be you get some of these like in October, November. Mm-hmm. But the way some of these judges now are looking at this, they're like, there are a lot of charges being kicked out, thrown away. Some of the Georgia case, Judge Cannon, I think of the documents case, was looking and asking a lot of questions about selective prosecution yesterday. And you're also seeing continually in the polls, leave the court lawfare stuff to the side. New York Times has a story out. Latino voters are now shifting to Trump. It's true. A lot of folks are shifting to Trump. Trump, in a lot of polls, is polling 20%. It's just really all you need to break a coalition with black voters, and it's usually younger black voters, black men in particular. You're seeing, I think, a cultural shift to where when Trump walks into a UFC fight in Miami, and it sounds like a 70,000 man strong army ready to go into battle, like, that's a thing. That's a very real thing that you cannot deny, no matter how corporate media spins it. And then get ready for this, folks. At least 7 states are slated to deploy ballot drop boxes. All are likely to have no excuse absentee voting. 5 are on track to have more than 2 weeks of early voting. Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina will mail out absentee ballots more than 6 weeks before Election Day. Whew. Are we going to just revisit this again? My goodness.
One way or another, it's going to be the conversation.
Yep.
And
That's
because they refuse to address it. They refuse to create common sense solutions. Because even if they, and we've seen this since 2020, even if there is not clear evidence of actual chicanery, the evidence for the possibility of chicanery is enough for a lot of people, and they don't seem to want to address that.
Well, who's the Texas Attorney General? Paxton?
Yes.
Yeah, he is, to me, very credible in the sense that why would you go after him the way they went after him? Like, and every bigwig in Texas, the national, backing to go after him, he survives that. Why did they go after him? Because he, I think, and he said this, I believe, in a Tucker Carlson interview, I stopped what they did in Georgia. They wanted to do the same mass mail-out voting, drop box schemes, and he's like, hey, here's how the scheme works, is you get, what are the actual returns? All right, how many votes do we need? And we've got all these ballots just sitting here. Why was the counting stopped in the middle of the night in Georgia?
Yeah.
The water main break, all this stuff. Now, could Paxton prove that in a court? Doubtful. But given how upset everybody else was at Paxton for essentially cutting that off at the pass in Texas, it suggests there might be something like that going on. And when you look at the margins, what was it, 12,000 votes, if that?
Yeah.
In Georgia. So I hate that this is the conversation. I hate that the lawfare stuff is also the conversation. It would be nice if we could just get back to, I don't know, issues and maybe a little bit of personality. Oh, and by the way, Biden came out to say today and said Chuck Schumer made a good speech on Netanyahu. Man, we can get into that, but that's just playing to the folks here at home. You could look at the Israeli war cabinet. There are people to the right of Netanyahu.
Yep.
And Benny Gantz, who they're like, oh, he'll be the next. He's on the same page, too.
Yeah.
They're not stopping. Like, and for better or for worse, they're not stopping. Now, I'm a little, well, it's war. So when you see how many civilians are dying in the middle of all this, it's just bloody awful. But
I'm on like hour 4, by the way, of the Israel-Palestine debate that Lex Friedman hosted.
I didn't get into that yet.
You didn't get into it yet? It's 5 hours long, so
Right.
I've had to piecemeal it, but it's very
good.
interesting. Hey, I think it shows a lot of what happens when someone like Destiny goes against legitimate academics.
I saw one clip where the guy's reading him the riot act.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Finkelstein was going after him pretty hard, but it's just having going into a situation like that with people that have been in the trenches for decades. You can't learn enough in a couple years to match that level of copiousness that they have about this particular instance. But anyway, the conversation was good, and yeah, it's like I don't care how many people critique Netanyahu, he keeps getting elected.
Yep.
So Netanyahu seems to be the status quo.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't Netanyahu, say it's Gantz who gets in there, it's going to be the same exact policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Israelis and the Israeli government is on the same page despite all their fervent disagreements about other things. Crazy politics, folks. That's one of the crazy. The Knesset is just such a crazy system, parliamentary system they have there. And I just worry that if Israel goes into Rafah in a heavy-handed way, it's not just the deaths of so many. It's also, it could lead to wider war. Like, does Turkey, for instance, sit back? Does Hezbollah sit back? Can Jordan keep their people back? What about Egypt? Like, you could see something even bigger. And when you say all that, I'm not saying it will happen. You just got to consider it a possibility, like you're looking at a chessboard. With Ukraine still going on. And Macron, the French president, coming out today, doubling down on sending his troops to Ukraine. Last week, you had the Polish president saying, well, there are already NATO troops there. And, Biden in the State of the Union says there are no soldiers of war. Or are there other types of soldiers there, Joe? Anything? Anybody? And then, of course, we could talk about how Senator Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I want to have a 4-day work week without losing any pay.
When does he work anyway?
Not for me personally. I have houses.
Right. When does he work anyway?
No, for every day work for Hyundai.
I wanted
You work 4 days, 32
I wanted a 4-day
hours.
work week. I did. And then I got a paycheck for him. And I went, oh, God. When does his overtime start back up again?
Yeah, but he wants to do that and you not lose money.
Yeah, not going to happen.
In this economy, that's just genius. So there's so much to talk about today. I have a lot of weird stories. Hey, I'll just read the title of this one, the headline. 80-year-old Montana man pleads guilty to using cloning to make giant mutant bighorns.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Actually, does sound kind of. Would you try that?
I don't know if I'd try his, but I saw them. They get pretty big racks, that's for sure. I saw a few.
Impressive racks?
Very impressive.
No.
Yes.
No. I read your mind.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Yes. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Luxury car prices and payments have hit an all-time high. But at Lexus of Montgomery, we have every new Lexus model in stock with low APR financing to save you thousands. Right now, take advantage of as low as 3.99% APR financing on your favorite new Lexus. You don't have to pay more to get the luxury vehicle you want. Pay less at Lexus of Montgomery. You deserve to drive a Lexus from Lexus of Montgomery.
Financing up to 36 months is $29.50 per 1,000 minutes. With approved credit. Ends 4/1/24.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Ahoy there, landlubbers! Is your stomach yearning for some great seafood? Or maybe it's a meat and 3 you're craving. So set sail for Little Fish Tail Seafood Bar and Grill, the undisputed champion of deliciousness in Lake Jordan and Slapout. We're talking great food, fantastic drinks, and fabulous music. They're like pirates with spices, creating flavor combinations that'll make your taste buds do a jig. Go see them on Lightwood Road or call 543-4561. Don't forget a free grab bag for the little ones.
Sometimes you need things done around your house or land that your lawnmower or weed eater just can't handle. That's when you call Prattville Farm Center. They bring their own crew and equipment and clear whatever you need. They say no job is too small. I've been going to Prattville Farm Center for years, and I like dealing with hometown folks. They get the job done right and get it done quickly. If you have land that needs clearing, call Randy at Prattville Farm Center on South Memorial Drive in Prattville. Call 365-5400.
Hello, I'm Johnny Sullivan from Sinclair's Restaurant. We're almost 27 years, and our business is as good as ever, and I give credit to Blue Water Broadcasting for keeping us on the air and letting people know what we do. Advertising with them has been a huge help to our business. I've seen a uptick from day one. If you need to grow your business, I highly recommend you give them a call.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. With a frontal system approaching, we've got an increasing chance of rain and thunderstorms again today from time to time. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe, especially this afternoon and this evening. Today's high in the upper 70s. The rain will end in the overnight hours tonight. Tonight's low 61. On Saturday, the rain chances are very small during the daytime hours. Saturday's high in the mid-70s. Then another round of scattered showers from time to time on Sunday with a high near 70. Much cooler by Monday. In fact, we could see some patchy frost late Monday night into early Tuesday with lows in the mid-30s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Both Eddie Bader and Craig Monger in the studio here. And before we get into what Bernie Sanders wants to do for workers, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. I'm sitting here wondering what all these small businesses that support the show, wonder what all the owners, like Todd Clark there at River Region Contracting, what would he think of this idea by Bernie Sanders? Or anybody that runs a local small business think of that idea. Even folks that are very generous to their employees. It's almost like a family in some settings, but...
When I was in my 20s, I thought it was a great idea.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, then you realize, oh, wait a minute, debt does not allow this to happen.
But they're at River Region Contracting. They're the premier roofing contractor here in the area. And they understand that owning a home is one of your most expensive and long-term investments, and a big part of your home is that roof of yours, especially on a day like this, with all this rain coming down. That roof better be jam up and jelly tight.
Yeah, buddy.
So whether you have an asphalt or a metal roof, it should be inspected every 3 to 5 years for basic preventative maintenance. Eddie and I have been suggesting do it like once a year.
I would.
Because here's the great news at River Region Contracting, their inspections and estimates are always free.
Always, Joey.
And they show up on time. The estimates are accurate. They don't leave a big mess behind after they get the job done.
Yep.
In fact, if they find another problem, they understand how the insurance claims process works. They're insurance specialists.
Yep.
And so they're going to try to understand the whole warp and woof of the problem before they start going through that claims process, and they can make it easy and swift for you, which is not normally what happens with insurance claims. So again, whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, you need it inspected to make sure that you're doing basic preventative maintenance to save you money and make sure, well, again, your home is tightened up. Give them a call today, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team there that Joey and Eddie and throw in Craig from the radio show sent you. Now, here's what Bernie is proposing. This is from NBC News. Y'all remember what Adam Sandler said NBC stands for?
No, I do not.
No, I don't.
Here, let me mute these. Yeah, right. I had to mute that for a second. But Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont held a hearing Thursday on a bill he introduced to reduce the standard U.S. work week to 4 days without loss of pay. Yeah, it's because the work week's the way it is because somebody on high just decided it, right? Give me a break. The bill, titled the 32-Hour Work Week Act, that's original, would reduce the standard work week from 40 to 32 hours over the span of 4 years, including lowering the maximum hours required for overtime compensation for non-exempt employees. It would also require overtime pay at time and a half for work days that last more than 8 hours, and overtime pay that would pay workers double their regular pay if their workday is longer than 12 hours.
Hey, as a worker that was working hours like that, sure.
Yeah, but the companies that I've worked for, the decent ones, they already had that set up. So
Right.
go work for a company that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Well, and the companies that do suck, if you impose these standards, I don't think they're going to last.
Yeah,
And people are then out of a job.
They'll head south.
Yeah, when I work, I'm telling you, because first of all, just there's sometimes when you're a grown man that you have to work longer than 8 hours, and this really does only apply to hourly workers. If you're salaried, you kind of just work as much as you work.
Hello.
But if you're working hourly, like when I worked for Crosby, for instance, that was the setup. If you worked over a specific amount of hours, it was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was time and a half. And if you worked over 12, then it was double time.
And double time on Sundays.
On the day, regardless of how many time you work. If that was only one day that I worked, and I worked a 20-hour day, which did happen, especially when we had to go.
I was working 12-hour shifts at the Fun Zone. They never gave me over, not even pay and a half.
How old were you?
17.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. How skilled were you?
17, 18.
Yeah.
I was a game tech and a DJ, mind you.
I know you
I
were-
worked my
you were
way up.
probably a heck
I
of
had
a
to work
button
the
pusher.
bumper cars. I had to work the jump play. I had to work the rock wall and the roller
Who cleaned
coaster
out the balls,
simulator.
though? The ball pit.
I cleaned the balls.
Oof. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's not fun.
I'd hate to see.
You got to collect them in the mesh nets, and then you go spray them outside with
You fill it
disinfectant.
with water and boil it, and then drain the water and be done.
No, my friend and I, he was my roommate all through college after the fact, but like that was so frustrating of an experience cleaning the ball pit. We literally got in a fight.
Did you ever find anything like I would imagine you'd find in the ball pit? Just like disgusting.
Like a bag of weed?
No, I didn't
Or
find any
an
skunk.
old turd.
No, I remember this pretty vividly. I'm working the bumper cars, and right next to the bumper car station is the big soft play, like the thing you see at McDonald's, but it was huge, like oversized at Fun Zone. And this adorable little girl, she must have been like 7, if that. Mister, yeah, I think somebody pooped in there. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And so I go, and just at the threshold of the tube to climb into the soft play, I didn't even have to go inside. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was just sort of resting on top like Legolas on the snow.
Exactly. And so it was like, Orlando to the soft play. Clean up in the soft play. And that was just one instance.
Why are the balls always greasy? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, people are oily. People are greasy.
Yeah, but not that greasy.
Yeah, and then you add the pizza that we'd serve.
That's true.
Those trash cans had a funk, man.
Oh, I bet.
And kids, too. They just stink.
Yeah. Dude, I thought that the stinky kids thing came like a little bit closer to puberty. Oh no. My almost 3-year-old boy, when he comes and plays outside, he smells like a bag full of old pennies.
Yeah. Well,
Now imagine having to strap a bunch of kids into the Rockwall harness.
Yeah.
And they're nervous. They're sweating.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
deodorant. Probably hadn't bathed in 3 days.
Well, I mean, how old do you have? Well, see, that's the question I'm wondering. It's like, how old is my child going to be when I have to start having the deodorant conversation? I thought that was going to be like 12, 13.
I think it's because of the way things are going. I'm going 7, 8, maybe 9. Plus, he plays sports.
Well, he is a boy's boy. He climbs trees. He just likes to wallow in dirt. He loves to go outside and play with things. And he comes back inside and it's just like, bro, you smell like a grown man.
Outdoor shower.
He has to get a shower every day. Like it's you know. There's not a single day that he doesn't go outside.
Right.
But I was just shocked. The new things you learn as a parent of young children is the age that they start to stink, and it's quite early.
So back to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so sorry.
Yeah, I could tell Fun Zone stories all day. That was a fun place to work. And then Parks and Rec was a fun place to work, too, in the summer.
Is Fun Zone, by the way, that's like Chuck E. Cheese, but not?
It's like mostly a roller rink.
Okay.
So there's a big roller skating rink and a pretty sizable arcade, kitchen, and the soft play. Like, yeah. So by the time I advanced, it really was a sweet gig. I'd just play music in the DJ booth, and they would occasionally page me to, like, hey, go to the skee ball machine. The ticket, dispenser's jammed, and you just pull tickets out, thread them in.
Tickets.
No, there was this one time, okay, you're going to get me to tell another story, where it's jammed, Joey to the, the skee ball machine. And it's this kid is probably like 10, And I'm like, oh, man. And he's like, I got a really high score on this. I deserve a lot of tickets. So I was being generous. I unjammed it, and I ran off like triple the tickets he was supposed to get.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, go buy yourself some tchotchkes that nobody needs. He got mad. He goes, no, I want my tickets.
Oh.
I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, these are your tickets. You can have them.
Yeah.
No, my tickets. I'm like, the ones that are all crumpled up? You want the one that got stuck? And to finance, I was like, and this is Joey maybe as a parent, like, okay, you get no tickets.
No tickets. No tickets.
And the mom came up all mad, and I explained to her, and he goes, oh, we're out of here.
No tickets.
Like, yeah.
No, yeah, that's very Joey-like.
No, no
tickets for you.
I was about to say, here, you get triple the tickets. And then he didn't want it. Kids these days. Anyway, Bernie wants this 32-hour week because the financial gains from the major advancements in AI, automation, and new tech must benefit the working class, not just corporate CEOs and wealthy stockholders on Wall Street. Okay, I guess I agree, Bernie. How about we end the Fed then? Can we actually do a structural reform and not continually add more restrictions on freedom that's only going to make the problem worse? That said, Bernie had a run-in, I believe, with a Fox reporter.
Mm-hmm.
What's the blonde one's name?
At Fox, all
really?
of them.
Really, Joey, the blonde one?
Yeah, anyway, here's this exchange. It's, in those Senate office hallways.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
Business. It seems like Democrats want businesses to be taxed more, pay their workers.
Really? Is that what you think?
Pay their workers.
Excuse me.
I didn't get to ask
Excuse
a
me.
question.
Okay, thank you.
Senator,
You want to hold it? Okay. We held a hearing on a 32-hour work week because what we have seen is that over the last 50 years, despite a huge increase in worker productivity, almost all of the new wealth has gone to the top 1%, while 60% of the people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Why? Why, Bernie?
Yeah.
Wait, and he said worker productivity. Doesn't that mean you can do more with less workers, number one?
Yes.
Because of machines and all this stuff. Yeah. It's amazing, like auto manufacturing really has what it used to be compared to what it is now. It's remarkable. But then it's like, why? Why is all that money going to the top 1%? Is that something to do with we're mostly the financialization of the economy? Where people are making money out of creating money out of thin air?
Well, I mean, I think the bigger question isn't why does a certain amount of money go to the 1%. I'm perfectly fine with that. The question is why are 60% of people living paycheck to paycheck? And the answer for that is because you guys have systemically screwed us for decades.
Correct.
Yes.
Predatory credit card interest rates that you've allowed to happen. Predatory interest rate lending in general. Inflation that goes. You brought that up exactly. Food costs, the cost of everything. The fact that our insurance and healthcare models are so corrupt that it is laughable that Stalin would blush to see what we've allowed to happen through these state-sanctioned entities. And the fact is that it costs people an exorbitant amount of money to exist because of the restrictions or lack thereof and the loopholes that you have allowed to go on for decades and decades. And now we are reaping the whirlwind of that because inflation is so insane. We're funding foreign wars. Our economy blows, food costs too much, everything costs too much. And yeah, that's not going to be solved by a 32-hour work week where you impose certain payment requirements on employers. It's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work at all. But that's what they always do. They break your leg and then they say, oh, let me give you a crutch.
Yeah.
Because the rich are getting, like Bernie, how about you do some major structural things?
It's not even that. They break your leg and then they give you a neck brace.
That's more
You're welcome.
Yeah, and then teach your children that daddy couldn't walk without the government's help in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But he came in a little hot with this blonde hair.
Yeah, he was like Sig Heiling right in her face there
like,
for a second.
Hold on.
You broads are getting too lippy these days.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we would have smacked you for not making the lasagna right.
He does remind me of Larry David.
He does.
Very much.
Like, I love Larry David, but let's keep going here.
Many of our people are exhausted. We work the longest hours of any people in the industrialized world. I think it's time for a shortened work week.
Could I ask you a question about that? It seems like Democrats want businesses to be taxed more,
Really? No, that's not my
pay
assumption.
their
I don't
workers
think
more,
so.
lower
No,
prices,
you know
and now
what
pay people
Democrats-
not to work.
You know what I would like to see? I can
How
go
are
as loud
businesses
as
going to
you.
survive that? That's the
Well,
question. How can businesses survive
I
all
think
of those
that
proposals?
When Mr. Bezos pays an effective tax rate lower than the average worker, I think we have a real problem in our tax system. I think that billionaires have got to start paying their fair share of taxes. Thank you.
That was Senator Bernie Sanders.
Oh, she's not blonde.
Yeah, well, I like the brunettes on Fox. The blonde, you can have them.
That's so 2010.
Which ones do you not like on Fox? Which ones do you not like?
Not like?
Yeah, there's
Not a fan of Martha McCallum. And it's not a looks thing.
Really?
It's the vibe.
I couldn't name at sight of any TV journalist that's not named Rachel Maddow, and that's only because I see her in my nightmares.
Unfortunately, yeah, that is one. Yeah, 100%.
Man, Bernie getting a little unhinged there.
I think he's had a long day.
Yeah.
And,
Been 4 hours.
Well, no, I mean, okay, I will say this. Obviously, Bernie's politics are garbage, but I think he might be one of like 5 principled people
That
in
is
that
fair.
building. So he at least has my respect at being consistently principled throughout his tenure. Now, he obviously sort of capitulated on several
Right.
things. The Hillary Clinton campaign.
He's
didn't
no
get
Ron
back.
Paul.
No, he's not a Ron Paul,
Correct.
but as far as, especially for Democratic lawmakers, I would say he's 100% the most principled one up there. I mean, he capitulated on Yemen, the war in Yemen. I think, what was that, 2 years ago? Whenever he didn't fight for his resolution, that would have stopped our funding of the destruction of the Houthis and the starvation of the Houthis at that time. Which now everyone knows who the Houthis are, but they didn't then, which is why nobody cared. But yeah, he's one of the more principled people, and so he has a bit more respect from me because of that. But
I think that's fair.
I think he works pretty hard because he is one of the only principled people on the left in that ensanguined building.
Well, and what we need is the complete polar opposite of Bernie, and completely they're not a lot of these Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you listen to these establishment Republicans, like Alabama's senators often, or most of our congressmen, other than Barry Moore.
Yeah.
You listen to everybody say represents Alabama. Terry Sewell's this way too. It's all about how do we get these big corporations with special deals, especially military contractors, come in and provide jobs. It's all this sort of top-down managed. It's like an oligarchy essentially with political pull and privileges. What we need is not Bernie socialism. We don't need more corporatism from the Republicans. What we need is essentially a Javier Milei for the United States.
Yeah, we need a flamethrower.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Vivek was offering it. I hope he gets Trump's ear. I don't care if he's VP or not, but I hope he gets Trump's ear on some of the big structural stuff he wanted to do.
Again, Trump.
Who knows?
Trump didn't. He had the chance. He had every chance to go in there with a guillotine, with a hatchet, and start cutting these programs, and he did no such thing. I have zero reason to believe he'll do it again. We don't need what we had in 2016. We need something completely new, and I think the appetite for something completely new is higher than it's ever been. But the fact is, there's nobody that's going to be allowed to get thrown on the GOP ticket other than Trump because of the level of political persecution. So we're stuck with what we're stuck with in 2024, but I think in another 4 years, I think there's going to be
hopefully
very interesting. Although I swear, is Donald Trump, if he keeps losing, is he just going to keep running?
Well, he ran several times
he's gonna,
before he ever won. So,
well, time is eventually going to run out on him.
Well, yeah,
he ain't getting any younger.
Yeah,
but I mean, he does look like himself still. Like, you can go watch old Trump speeches. Trump is still Trump, whereas Biden is melting.
Literally.
Yeah.
He tried to answer some questions last night, and
and his staff moved the press out quickly.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Again, the man is
Pull the
sick.
fire alarm.
The man is not old. The man is sick.
Right.
You know, it should be uncontroversial to point that out. He is obviously unwell. Now, again, if he were a different person, if he hadn't been a scumbag for decades, I would feel sorry for him. I do not feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the fact that our country is run by a deteriorating amoeba, essentially. Who's told what to say and can barely do that.
He's like the perfect epitome. Like, just put all the establishment into one guy. It's kind of Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And you can see his sins on his face. Well, they tried to stretch some out, but that's not the same thing as true repentance, Joe.
Well, remember Feinstein? It's like you're being wheeled in there, essentially looking like George Bush Sr. towards the end. You shouldn't be in charge of running a Monopoly game, much less a Senate district.
Right.
And they don't care because there's someone else pushing the buttons, and there always has been.
Right. And I hope more Americans are waking up to this. You happen to read the op-ed I put out this week?
The Katie Britt one?
Yeah.
I did indeed.
Okay. So that's what I mean is, leaving Senator Britt aside, when I saw that Boston Tea Party reenactment, like there were kids having fun. I'm like, okay, that's charming. They're learning history. But it did make me genuinely laugh. My buddy Sean and I were like, look how quick they pull those things back up. And it's like, eventually Americans are going to have to get their tea wet again. Because it seems like this upcoming election, so much of what we do in politics, it's just like a cheap imitation of what is actually needed. And this is a crude example, but it's kind of like what porn is to actual sex. Like, it's virtual, it's cheap, it's not good for you. And I feel like our politics has become that.
Of course.
We're in charge because my guy won. I'm like, do you really feel in charge right now over anything that's really screwing you over and affecting your life? Back to our conversation about how systemic problems continue to get worse. And then most of the proposed solutions really aren't much of a solution.
No, the solutions always tend to be very lackluster and a tool for lawmakers, both state and federal, to come out there and proclaim to stupid people, hey, look at all this great stuff that we did. And it's always benign, it's always banal, it's always useless, and it's never as virile as you would expect a legitimate solution to be, because these people don't want solutions. They're trying to get as much silver as they can off the Titanic until the feds or someone else, some foreign country, is going to have to bail us out of this mess that we're continuously creating.
Yeah, they just like to manage, and I think we have way too many managers and not enough visionaries.
Yep.
And, I watched, in this hour, I watched a little bit of a flagrant podcast this week. Can't even remember the guy's name, but he's former CIA. And it's fascinating. Like, he described what his experience was being there and how it works. And I think I didn't completely believe him on a lot of stuff, but
he's no longer CIA?
Right. No, and Schultz was giving him hell about that.
Yeah,
it's like, no, you would be a perfect asset to come on shows like this and sell them.
Is he the long-haired dude?
Yeah.
Everyday Spy or something like that.
Right. And he's trying to come up with a book. But my biggest takeaway wasn't all the inside information about the farm and, their psychological techniques. Like, nobody's heard of neuro-linguistic programming before. Give me a break. He said, me and the wife are leaving the country. Why? Like, because it's about to get real bad. Like, this generational problem, this systemic problem and rot, it's going to give here in the next few years. And we'd rather be out of the country. And now if the U.S. comes back, makes it through this crucible, we'll come back.
Yeah.
But when a guy like that, with that sort of inside information, working for the agency, it's like, I'm getting the hell out of this place. That should give you a little bit of pause, folks.
It's akin to what happened in 2009. These people were just... They were getting it while the getting was good until it collapsed very quickly. And luckily for them, luckily for Wall Street, the federal government was there to pick up the tab. Well, what happens when what happens to Wall Street happens to the federal government?
Ooh,
What do you do then?
Well, we got to hit our top of the hour break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you fellas out, especially if you're getting a little older. Things start to happen, like bedroom issues, like erectile dysfunction. Low testosterone is also a huge underlying problem. And it's something that does happen as you get older, but a lot of guys want to keep that edge. They want to keep that energy, motivation, and drive, including their sex drive. But here's the deal. It's not just guys getting older. There are a lot of guys in their even 18, 19, in their 20s who have low T, and they feel miserable all the live long day, but they don't know why. And they're men, so they don't want to go to the doctor. Right. It's just, I'll change my habits. I'll figure it out. Well, here's the deal. You need to go to Montgomery Men's Health. They were created just for guys like us who don't like going to the doctor, who might feel like crap, but we don't know exactly why. And they can provide a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And if you do have low T, they have treatments there that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido. You can actually book the same day that you call, guys. That's that number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Devastation in a number of states. Tornadoes ripping through parts of America. At least 3 people have been killed in Ohio. Dozens more injured in Kentucky, Indiana, and Arkansas. Colorado, no stranger to heavy snow, but this is ridiculous. Parts of Colorado in the last 24 hours getting up to 4 feet of snow. Ukrainian officials say first responders who arrived at the scene of a Russian missile attack in the city of Odessa were themselves hit by a second round of missiles. 14 people killed, at least 4 dozen more have been hurt. System failures at McDonald's today reported worldwide, closing some restaurants for hours and leading to a number of complaints on social media. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. And remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
The Ridge Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Alabama's personal injury attorney, me, Johnny Adams of the Johnny Adams Law Firm. Stay weather alert, everyone.
Hi, everybody. With a frontal system approaching, we've got an increasing chance of rain and thunderstorms again today from time to time. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe, especially this afternoon and this evening. Today's high in the upper 70s. The rain will end in the overnight hours tonight. Tonight's low 61. On Saturday, the rain chances are very small during the daytime hours. Saturday's high in the mid-70s. Then another round of scattered showers from time to time on Sunday with a high near 70. Much cooler by Monday. In fact, we could see some patchy frost late Monday night into early Tuesday with lows in the mid-30s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. The Z700 series is the star of Kubota's line of zero-turn mowers, and our special spring pricing makes it easier than ever to take one home today. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The SLE Rodeo gets underway today and runs through Sunday. It's the greatest show on dirt, bringing in some of the best cowboys and cowgirls in the country. The rodeo is hosted by the Southeastern Livestock Exposition, a nonprofit organization that supports Alabama's youth through scholarships. Best Buy is recalling more than 287,000 air fryers following complaints of overheating, melting, or glass shattering, as well as catching fire. The recall involves China-made Insignia air fryers and air fryer ovens sold at Best Buy stores nationwide and online from November 2021 through November 2023. The Alabama Supreme Court heard oral arguments on Thursday in a 2020 wrongful death case at Jackson Hospital in Montgomery. Attorneys for the plaintiff argued some of Governor Kay Ivey's proclamations during the COVID pandemic were unconstitutional and exceeded her emergency authority. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. an equal housing lender.
The Veterans Access to Care bill now in the Alabama State Legislature will relieve the overwhelmed federal VA healthcare system and provide the specially tailored care that veterans need.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, Mitch, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you junk cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. My friends alongside me, Eddie Bader and Craig Monger here in the studio.
Hi, Sweetums.
Sweetums? Okay, Eddie said a lot of creepy things to me over the years, but nothing to that degree. What the hell?
I have a level of affection for you, Joseph.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Obviously.
Yeah. I can call you Bitsy Pookums.
I like that better.
Bitsy Pookums.
I'm starting to sound like a cat.
No, Bitsy Pookums is a line that I read when I was 12 in a Calvin Hobbes comic, and it was just so funny to me that it stuck with me. That I'll call my wife Bitsy Pookums every once in a while.
So let's continue our discussion about how, because Bernie's got a point, working class Americans are getting screwed. They are, but it's not for the reason, capitalism. Yeah, okay, that's the real reason, right, Bernie? Of course, it's just capitalism. But this one girl on the X platform really sparked a debate. And this is not one where I looked at it. Maybe you'll read it differently, Eddie or Craig. But I didn't look at it as this girl is like, oh, she's young and she's just bitching about working. I read this as like, no, this is somebody at their wit's end because they can't afford to live in a basic way. So here's the clip. It's pretty short here, but listen to this young lady. How old would y'all guess she is? 20s?
Mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on. This is the first month
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, if your rent increase, well, first of all, they're just the rent increases I've seen just from everyone.
Here in Montgomery?
But here in Montgomery is nuts.
Crazy.
But 1,300 to 1,800 is rough.
That's
it doesn't sound like she's living in, because 1,800. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at her apartment. It doesn't look like she's living in like some
Yeah, that would
some
make
metropolitan
sense
area.
maybe in like California or something, maybe.
Well, I mean, I feel like if it was in California, it'd be even more than that.
Right.
So, I mean, she might be in some lower place. I don't know. It doesn't say where she's from, but that would make sense. It seems like 13 or 1800 for an apartment is something you would find in like Birmingham, maybe Mobile.
Right.
Nashville, something like that. Which it's not like California or Austin. It's not like L.A. or Austin, but it's substantial. I get what she's saying about the food and everything, and she doesn't seem to be living too opulently.
No. Well, she does have a cat.
She does have a cat. They're not super
that
expensive.
Yeah.
But I would like. I'm always in these situations, but like I'd love to see your budget before I make a determination. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard out there right now.
Yeah, and it's just one. I think this resonated online because there are a lot of people who feel this way.
Oh God, yeah.
Or there are folks who are making it, but they realize, oh, I'm making it just barely.
Yeah.
I'll be blunt. I'm doing all right, but I decided to help, but also for some self-interest, I'm living with my grandfather now.
Yeah.
Like, it just made too much sense on a lot of different fronts. And part of that decision was, yeah, it costs a lot. Even in Montgomery, Alabama, everything costs more.
Well, the destruction of...
Wait, hold on. Why did you sigh?
Because, let me tell you guys, and I'm not proud of this, but I'll say it. When I was single, lived in these Spanish Quarters apartments in Montgomery with my son, at the end of the week, each week, we had $35.
Yeah.
We made it work.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear nobody bitching.
Well, you can make it...
Get a second job, get a third job, get a fourth job. Do something.
You can always make it work, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't suck.
But it did suck.
Yeah, it does suck,
but the best part, looking back, I'm glad because I learned a hell of a lot. Also, because I couldn't afford childcare, Justin rode with me in the truck.
Right.
I mean, and he saw the good, the bad, the ugly. In the end, I think it was a very positive thing.
Yeah.
But to hear, and I get it sucks. She had a suck moment, but don't come on. Have some self-respect.
But let me say I agree with you, and I think what it points to is the fact of the difference between you and this woman is very clear, and it has to do with the immutable characteristics of sex, and that is that
I didn't even have that going.
Yeah, well, I'm saying
Not that type of
I'm
thing.
saying that you're a man. That's your job to bear that burden of like I don't care if I have to work 80 hours
that's
a
the
week.
thing.
90 hours a
I
week.
never thought, man, woe is me.
Yeah.
I kept thinking we can do better. We got to do better. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you because like my wife has a college degree. She could, if she wanted to, go out and work and make probably more than I do. The fact is, we made the decision to have a family, and she's staying home with the kids. It's not like I didn't force her to do it. She wants to do it. She's happy to do it. But that's a sacrifice that we made. So it's a single income. That's very difficult to do.
Oh,
if
yeah, I
you
know.
want to have anything resembling a tenable lifestyle.
My son does that now with twins.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so proud of him, but I know the struggle.
Yeah.
Well, and my point is, my situation is I am doing great right now.
Yeah.
And even doing great, I'm like, ooh, one skip, hop and a jump to really bad situation if you don't watch out.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine being the situation you were in today? I mean, you still do the same things. You put your foot forward, you figure the hell out, but
I've got a more safety net now, but I still live my life like I got $35 at the end of the week.
Well, like I mean,
never goes away.
If you're this poor lady, for instance, and your car craps out, what do you do?
I sit in Country's barbecue drive-through one night, me and Justin, and the little car we were driving started to overheat.
Ooh.
I got $35.
So what'd you do?
Turned the car off, had a casual conversation with the drive-through lady giving the car a minute to cool down. We cranked up, we got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Went by, got some cheap radiator repair, and kept on going until it finally
Was it
cracked.
the hose?
No, it was an actual crack. I mean, it was like,
oh no,
that's the car that I put an egg in the radiator, and that's what ended up clogging the holes that I had.
Now they have that solution that you can pour.
Yeah,
in
you
there
can
and
do that.
it'll
But that was
plug
like
holes.
$7. Raw egg was.
Yeah, you got
From
$35.
my mom's
Let's
fridge.
get the egg.
All right. You've said a lot of country things on the show. That might be the best country. I've never even heard of that, but it's actually brilliant when you think about it.
It boils
heats up and
You ever take corrosion off a battery with Coca-Cola?
Oh yeah.
I thought so.
Done that a couple weeks ago.
Just looking at you, I knew.
That's
I
a
knew
couple
the
weeks ago
answer
I've done
as
that.
I asked you. Let's go to Soldier Boy. Hey, Soldier Boy.
Hey, I got some ideas.
All right, Bubba.
Hey, if she ain't making it, she needs to start faking it.
Fake it till you make it. Been there.
Well, here's the funny thing about it is when I was my dad was I remember my dad was a senior master sergeant, so he made pretty good money back then. Okay, and everybody had the '74 Trans Am Camaros, Firebirds, and Trans Ams and everything. I said, Dad, what can I have one of those? He says, you won't understand anything until you work for it. I was like, okay. And you know what he told me? He taught me an important lesson. He says, I'm going to give you a helping hand. I don't believe in handouts. That's all right. So what I did, I bagged groceries at the commissary at the base for tips and tips only, and my dad made a deal with me. He said, I'm going to give you a helping hand. I'm going to match when you're ready, because he knew I was a spendthrift. When you're 15, 16, man, you're ready to spend that money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I had a hole in my pocket. I don't even think I even had pockets. The money just went through and hit my shoes. But he said, save it, come to me, and I'll match it. And I was like, okay. So my mom was the world's greatest saver. I think that's why my dad married her. She was the world's greatest financial officer. So she helps me roll my change, takes me to the bank, and teaches me discipline about the value of a dollar. So after a while, I saved about $2,800, and I said, Dad, I'm ready to buy a car. He said, how much you got? About $1,000, $800, $1,000? I said, no, $2,800. He said, where the hell did you learn? Where'd you save that from? He says, honey, were you involved in this? He goes, well, what do you think? He goes, damn, you can do it. So he believed in giving a helping hand, not a handout. And every time I had a pity soldier boy little feeling, he would take me in the car before I got my car, of course, and he'd take me to the poor side of town, okay? Because you don't know what poor is until you see it. So next thing I know, my dad's like, he says, see this right here? I was like, my God, people live like this, Dad? Really? He goes, yeah. He says, now do you appreciate what you have? And every time I had a pity tantrum or something, he would take me in the car and show me what to learn to be appreciative. So this girl has an issue about money. Well, Eddie, I'm with you about earning extra money. I was a tech sergeant, and I worked at the Lowe's on the bypass when it first opened up. It got me a part-time job. I got divorced, and she had a better lawyer than me. That's all I got to say on that.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me through the ringers, permanent press, and everything. And next thing I know, I had to pay for this big old lawyer and everything. So next thing I know, my mom calls me up and says, hey, soldier boy. She says,
she called you soldier
how you
boy?
Doing? I told her what happened. Yes, she called me boy. I'll always be her boy.
That's right.
And she says, well, I'm going to do a secret for you. Don't tell your father, but you shouldn't have to be working 2 jobs. You're full-time in the Air Force. You're working 8 to 12-hour shifts, she says. And you've always worked hard. You've never asked for any money or anything. Let me send you a check. And pay for that, and you don't have to get that part-time job. What did I do, Eddie?
You went to work.
Damn right. I didn't take 1 cent. And in my mom's passing words before she did, she says, your father was so proud. You never asked for a cosigner. You always stood on your own 2 feet. Sometimes when you think it's really, really bad and you have to go through some tough times, that rainbow is on the other side. And when you reach it, it's even sweeter because you know what? I did what I had to do and sacrifice and suck it up, soldier boy. I had to suck it up and get a part-time job and do what I had to do to make it in life.
No,
I don't think she's exhausted.
I don't disagree at all with what you said, what Eddie's saying, as far as like if you're talking to an individual person and what you have to do. But my point, and Craig and I were talking about this earlier, is you could be doing your damnedest, but there are a lot of very powerful and privileged people who are making it unnecessarily worse for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when food costs are up 20-30% over the last few years, like this is a real concern. So you got to do what you got to do, but it shouldn't be this way.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. But I remember that they tell me at work and they asked me, hey soldier boy, how's your day going? And I said, well, I'm trying to keep everything going. I said, I got the big man with his big thumb trying to keep me down. But I'm not going to let him get me down and not keep me down, for example, if you got things that are money like that, maybe another thing is maybe grow her own food. I don't know if she lives in an apartment or a place where you can put a garden or something. You know what I'm saying? There are things we can do to cut back. I know one thing she can cut back. She can cut back on that internet and stop doing damn YouTube videos.
That's fair, but I've got
How much internet?
That sun's gone up, man. No, it's
mobile data is also available. We don't. Again, the situation here is someone who is struggling because of, for the most part, things that are imposed upon her, not that she has any control over. And again, it's like if you're like 60% of America and you're living paycheck to paycheck and your transmission goes out, it's
That's
either
when
a
the predatory lending
it's
gets
either a handout or nothing. And if you're like, hey, I'm gonna go get a loan to get like a $3,000 beater in the meantime, nope, that ain't happening because that's just not happening.
Yeah, if you get a 3,000 beater, you're gonna put another $3,000 to keep it going.
Yeah, or even a $6,000 car. No, the banks aren't giving loans for anything. Pretty much right now, you're limited to buy new or nothing.
That's exactly right.
And so, like, this is the system that's been created, and it puts the, like you said, the thumb on women like this, and even married couples. Like, it's hard to be a single income family with kids. And if you're a single woman and maybe you don't have an overabundance of skill in the workforce, or you're just getting started out and you're making less than nothing, and you're attempting to deal. The problem here is that the income is a historical remnant. Like the expected levels of income are from a historical remnant that doesn't exist anymore. So that's like the $7.25 minimum wage. When's the last time that's changed? We're in a different world now altogether. Now I'm opposed to minimum wage, but the thing is, the income requirements and expectations haven't caught up with the reality of life. And it's very difficult for people, especially when they're starting out. So again, you have to do what you have to do, and that's especially why I looked at
my son the other day.
But you have to endure. But it still sucks.
It sucks. I agree. I remember when I was there. It sucked.
I found his window sticker on his Cutlass 442 when he bought it back in '74. You know, it was $8,900, brand new.
Right.
Good luck with
that.
I
mean, now where's a new car cost now?
Right. Well, and I've told the example many a time. When my dad was going to Auburn, he worked at Lowe's 40 hours a week, and so he could pay his tuition. And he's like, he was giving me that talk to Joe. You got to have that mentality. Then he started, because they saved. I was blessed in that regard to pay for tuition at Auburn. He goes, "Oh, damn, that's not possible anymore. It's just not. There's so many. Whether it's education, whether it's a car, food, housing, everything is becoming cost prohibitive, and it's not everybody's fault. It is a certain few's fault.
Exactly.
These are not like acts of God. These are policy decisions by people that are more interested in managing things to their own benefit than actually helping out the American people."
So that's who you put the finger of pointing the blame on?
Yeah, I would throw it at the policymakers over the generation, this last generation.
Oh, yeah.
It has been
100%.
absolutely irresponsible what they've done, in particular to our money.
Well, let me ask you one quick question before I head out. The decision in Georgia, let me get this straight. Is it the governor or is it the who's making the decision? The federal judge?
Yes.
Saying they can go forward. She can stay, but he's got to go. Is that basically it?
Right.
My God, she's the problem, not him.
What a sexist thing to say, soldier boy.
I think it sounds sexist. Her name is Fanny, and they keep trying to call it Bonnie or.
I've noticed that.
I don't. Put it this way: when she hauls butt, she has to make 2 trips.
Wide load.
So we're taking the American definition of Fanny and not the European.
Oh yeah, good.
This way,
Good.
she's got junk in Joey. She's got junk in the trunk, but unfortunately, it's 2 spares. Okay, she's got 2 spare tires back there in that trunk.
I'll be here all
And
night.
she turned her back one more time. I got to see penny lines. I'm going to have to refocus my 85-inch LED of loving.
Well, go watch something else then, man.
I
Goodness
would highly
gracious.
recommend that.
But I've got a. You mentioned.
It makes great TV, Joey.
Yeah.
It makes great TV. Come
No,
on.
I think we have different tastes. Then that doesn't sound like great TV to me.
No.
I don't need Jerry Springer reruns, baby. All I can do is watch old Fanny Fonny.
Well, I'm glad that gets your rocks off. Appreciate the call.
It does.
It's good. Good for you.
Stop while you're
Have a
ahead.
great weekend. And he mentioned, why didn't she grow her own food? But I have a clip coming up if we have time. Peter St. Onge, one of my favorite economists, his video that came out today is on the destruction of American small farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes over the numbers. We'll have to play this because it's astounding. You think of like American independence, you think of that small family-owned farm. Like, what's that line in Oh Brother Where Art Thou? You ain't a man unless you got land.
Yep.
And like that was the mentality. But you look at what's happened, it's, again, cost prohibitive. And so people are either renting out to these big corporations or they're just selling out.
Selling out, and that's leading to a lot of more housing.
Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, and it's not just farming. It's the way that that's been done in the medical system, and even the real estate system. Everything is being taken out of the hands of the smaller, more localized options, and they're being
100%.
bought up by multinationals. 100%.
Yeah, it's just awful to see.
That's why BlackRock owns like a million domestic houses in the United States.
They want to own them all.
Yeah, they do.
Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
Papa B. Oh, fat fanny. Merciful heaven. Oh, it sounds like a beginning of a song. Oh, fat fanny.
That's all I hear. Anytime I hear that name, that song plays in my head.
Boy, what a rotten judgment call by this judge. But, he shouldn't even be on the case because he got appointed by old fat fanny. Now, he didn't get appointed to this judgeship, but he got a start as something by old fat fanny. So, when they shot this case around Fulton County, none of the other judges would take it. They all recused themselves left, right, sideways. But this is the only guy that took it. And, it kind of makes me wonder, well, does somebody have something on this guy? I hate to think like that, but, he's got to.
In this world, yeah.
And the way that this worked out, it looked like he was trying to so-called split the baby. Okay, well, we'll dismiss some of these charges on Trump, and, we'll keep Fat Fanny, and she has to do this. She has to get rid of her lover. But, the fact is that speech at the MLK church, whatever it was, MLK Day speech that he gave, that alone disqualifies her, from having anything to do with this trial. But, that's not going to stop her or, I guess, this judge. So Trump is actually 100% right in saying that, this is not over with. We're going to take it to another level and see what somebody else has to say about it. And that's what's going to happen now. Right. So it's going to be stretched out, and all of the liberals are crying these crocodile tears about, it's not going to be in time for the, election, which is exactly what we knew it was all about.
Yep.
Now they're just saying it out loud. But, why did we have to wait until this happened before we figured that out? I figured it out a long time ago. I'm sure everybody else, a lot of other people did too.
It's reflected in the polls. You're not alone.
It's so stupid. They couldn't get it done in impeachment 1 or impeachment 2, so they got done it again some other way. And the DOJ is right in there with it. Don't you even doubt that.
Yeah, unless Trump is removed in some way, I think he's a lock to win. But that's a big unless.
Well, right. And the Biden administration itself is in all of this too. They're just not even, I don't think they're even trying to hide it anymore, Joey.
Right, no, they're not.
So, anyway, I hope Trump gets a fair hearing on this, and that, once Fat Fanny waddles her way on out of the courtroom, we won't have to worry about this trial anymore either, because nobody else wants to try it either, not just that one, but these other ones too. I mean, that's the thing, and I've said this before, the Democrats have found a really clever trick that they can do something really nasty in court, with the legal system, and it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time frame, they can,
do what they
maybe shape or mold public opinion. If that's the only thing they're doing, but that's not the only thing they're doing, but shape or mold the public opinion to come their way. But anyway.
Well, and have you seen all the Veep stakes conversation popping up, not just around Trump, but RFK Jr.? It's interesting, the names that are being thrown out there, especially for RFK, like Aaron Rodgers or Mike Rowe. And I thought that was a great idea. Man, what a communicator. Right. That guy would be effective. But here's Trump being asked about his VP. Is it a formal process by Greg Kelly of Newsmax?
Some people that I didn't think behaved properly. Yeah, I think I've ruled some people out, but I've ruled a lot of people in. We have a lot of great people in the Republican Party, and they'll do a terrific job, I think. But certainly I have people that I wouldn't want as a vice president.
Is there a formal process underway right now?
No, it's a formal process. It's in my brain. It's like I look at the same people that everybody else is looking at.
Formal process
God,
in my brain.
I have never empathized with another human being more than I just did with him. Because it doesn't, dude. There's so many things with my job, even that if people knew that I did them in my brain, they would be so frustrated.
Hello.
Like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, no, it's in my brain. Do you write out?
It's in my
Yeah. Do you write out
It's in
questions
my
before you do an
ginormous
interview?
brain.
No. It's up here.
Now, the first thing he said there, where I was considering some people, then they behaved badly.
Some people that I didn't think behaved properly.
Didn't behave properly. I think Megyn Kelly was speculating that was Senator Brett. That she didn't nail it in the response. But then some folks are like, no, maybe it's somebody who wants it too much, like a Tim Scott.
No, I mean, talk about all the people that screwed him over after the 2020 election, or that he believes screwed him over. I think that's who he's referencing.
Right.
You know, the last I heard on it was he had already decided who it was going to be. Now, maybe that's changed too, but isn't that what y'all heard? I thought that's what, the whole topic of conversation was several weeks ago, that he's already made his decision on who he's going to be.
Well, he's still going through that formal process in his brain.
The formal, in his ginormous brain, in my ginormous brain, that's superior to everybody else that might be running for president.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
Well, more power to him. I'm going to say, make my pick. I like that Governor Nome, the governor out in South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Is that right?
Christy Nome.
I met her at the GOP dinner, and it's like, okay, she's okay. She's okay. I'm not saying she's a bad governor. It's just like, I don't see it, Pop. I don't see it.
Well, I think that he's going to have to go ahead and, play the suburban wife card, to really lock the deal. Either that or, get some, Tim Scott, would solidify whatever black vote that, might be there.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I think the problem with the mom model for a VP will be that to get like a nice mom type character to try to defend the things that Trump is inevitably going to say that are inflammatory, I don't think that's going to be a good look at all. And I don't think a lot of people are going to want to sign up for that job. If anything, I would think that would be why Senator Britt would be trepidatious, is for that reason right there, because she has a specific image.
Christy, Katie, I need you to go out there and tell them it was locker room talk. It's just locker room talk.
Let me just say this. Anybody that takes that job, their political career is probably trash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? If it's not over, it's,
Joey, what do you got going on?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean,
I'd pay good.
I'd go from trash to trash.
Right. It's going to pay good, man.
What's that that lady's name out in Arizona?
Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake could be good.
Yeah, she would take it, I think, knowing
Carrie Lake could be very good.
Yeah, but I think if there's someone more hated than Trump, it might be Carrie Lake.
Yeah, good point.
You have to buy someone that's you want to get someone that's going to gain you some votes, not lose them.
I think Vivek would be great, but
he's already said he's not going to do it.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks a lot. Listening with great interest. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too, Papa B.
Toodles.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home. They can walk with you through every step of the process, from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Wasn't it great seeing Madeline yesterday,
it was awesome
too?
seeing her yesterday. I love it when she comes in.
They do great work for the community, folks. And it's not just in buying a home. It is also with refinance deals, especially if you're a veteran. They know the latest, all the rules when it comes to the VA home loan
She schooled me
programs.
some yesterday.
Yeah, she did.
I'm saying, man.
I was
They know it.
impressed.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
And I think they're still doing the special rate refinance for folks who still have student loans hanging
I
over
believe
their
they are,
heads.
yes.
And so Alabama Home Mortgage, they know what they're doing. They'll get you the best possible deal, but it's more than their skill and their expertise. They're local folks that will get to know you. We've lost count of how many folks who listen to this show have used Alabama Home Mortgage and just love their experience because they're just that good there. So give Kim and Madeline a call today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Madness is happening right now. But the real action is happening at Toyota of Montgomery. Score our biggest Toyota savings of the year. That's on our biggest selection of new Toyotas in stock. Like the game-winning 2024 Camry, now $299 a month. Trade in your old car. No matter what it is, no matter where you got it, we'll give you up to $2,000 over book value for it. And they're here. The Toyota of Montgomery All-Stars. Shop and save thousands on our certified pre-owned Toyotas. They're just like new Toyotas, even come with a warranty, but cost thousands less. Want in on the action? Hurry before it all ends March 31st. Dribble down to Toyota of Montgomery online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Camry LE MSRP $30,958, 12,000 miles per year for 36-month leases with 3638 due at signing. $0 security deposit with accrued credit. Trade value is based on excessive wear, tear, and mileage, plus tax, tag, title, and $9.95 doc fee. Offer ends 4/1/2024.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the river region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Hello, this is Colonel Patrick Downing, U.S. Army retired, on behalf of the nearly 400,000 veterans in Alabama, urging the passage of the Veterans Access to Care Bill to give veterans and their families better access to health care specifically tailored to their needs. Our veterans have done so much for us. Now it's time to do what we can for them by providing a state-run healthcare system just for veterans and their families.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. With a frontal system approaching, we've got an increasing chance of rain and thunderstorms again today from time to time. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe, especially this afternoon and this evening. Today's high in the upper 70s. The rain will end in the overnight hours tonight. Tonight's low 61. On Saturday, the rain chances are very small during the daytime hours. Saturday's high in the mid-70s, then another round of scattered showers from time to time on Sunday with a high near 70. Much cooler by Monday. In fact, we could see some patchy frost late Monday night into early Tuesday, with lows in the mid-30s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get on the program. And for those not local, 334-272-9228. I am loving all the love on the X platform.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the first few months, we were getting most people watching at Joey Clark Live on YouTube. In the last few days, more and more folks watching on X. So I do appreciate all y'all out there. And be sure to follow what we do and join the chat. And we haven't checked the chat in a second.
Oh no,
don't fight the chat.
Mark Cumby says the National Association of Realtors is eliminating the 6% realtor commission. Bad thing? Good thing?
Honestly, I haven't really looked into it that much.
You got a good poker face.
The state's going after the pharmacy benefits managers now, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's being painted as like, oh, they're putting a 1060 something tax on the thing, but it's like if you read the bill, it's a bit different than that. I mean, if you look in the history and just what pharmacy benefits managers do, the amount of revenue that they're able to generate for themselves is pretty absurd. Like I think one particular company, their revenue was more than the GDP of Alabama.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting. I'm actually working on a story about that right now. But it seems like they're really going after some of these people that take commissions, and in the case of pharmacy benefits managers, they take commissions and rebates. So.
Right. And then Mark Cumby also says apartment here in Montgomery for a one bedroom is $1,100 a month. Is that about right?
Depending on where it is, but that's about average. Yeah.
In a place where you're unlikely to be shot, I'm assuming.
That's the nicest way.
Well, I'm trying to think of places I've lived, like that 48 Midtown. It's in Cloverdale.
Yeah.
I lived there in a 2-bedroom with my brother, and it was more than that.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it is now. Probably $2,000.
Close to $2,000. Yeah.
And the house we lived in Cloverdale, that probably is a lot more expensive now to rent out. What about that one in Capitol Heights I lived in for a little while?
They should be getting a mint out of that. 'Cause let me tell you, a 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Highland Garden, 900 square feet, gets $875 a month.
And that Capitol Heights was a 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were less likely to get shot in Capitol Heights.
It's true. Now, a couple streets over.
But I will say this about Capitol Heights. If it is the best Airbnb neighborhood in Montgomery.
Sure.
Because it's close to downtown. You've got some incredible, beautiful houses over there. It does need a little cleaning up because, like you said, you can go one street over one way or the other. But it's a beautiful historical neighborhood.
Well, I did enjoy living there because of the location, but I think my car window got smashed in twice over there.
Is that when you screamed, Mayor?
Yeah, I was like, Todd Strange! I hadn't seen Todd in a while. I wonder what he's up to.
I bet he's living the life.
Yeah, last time I saw him, I think it was at Midtown Pizza. We were drinking a few.
Yeah.
We were having a good time. I like that guy.
Me too.
But yeah, it's just, it's getting absurd. Everything is becoming more expensive. But let's move off the sadness that is, being ripped off by the ruling class here in this country. And I saw this story earlier in the week, yet to talk about it. Illinois lawmakers propose legalizing magic mushrooms for therapies. Now, just based on that headline, do you mean I could go to a gas station and buy psilocybin mushrooms? I don't know if that's a great idea. But that's magic mushrooms seems like a bad way to put it, because a state Democrat there, Senator Rachel Ventura, introduced a bill. If passed, it would legalize psilocybin for medical therapies and treatment for people suffering from a variety of disorders, including PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Huh.
I can't knock it if it's done. Well, I'd like to say if it's done right, but
am
I kidding there?
In 2018, the FDA granted the drug, quote unquote, breakthrough therapy status for research. David Franco with the Law Enforcement Action Partnership said he's aware of opposition from law enforcement groups. What I gathered from that discussion was that it is illegal and we're going to enforce it. The measure includes a stipulation on how to pay for the drug. The bill currently has that Medicaid would cover this.
Well, the price better not go up because shrooms used to be pretty cheap. So
no, and
since when? Sorry, I'm just the economist in me was like, huh? Not in my lifetime.
Really?
No. It's typically for. Gosh, I can't even remember how I bought them by just giant bags. But
right,
I never went away without spending like $120.
Whoa.
Yeah. Even like a sheet of acid.
$5 a tab.
No.
Wow.
15 a tab.
Yeah, and they're saying here it would be $10 a gram is what they would want the beginning Medicaid estimates to be.
How much?
$10 a gram.
That's not too bad.
No, so 2 to 4 grams, which is a typical dose.
Yeah,
would be $240.
Keep it in a low gram.
Yeah,
dosage.
But again, it's like for me, for like a therapeutic dose, I would think it was just a cap and a stem.
Right.
So I don't know how you measure that.
Well, and here's, I've been singing this song for years on these airwaves. We've talked about this when I was doing the nighttime show, Eddie. I think back when the whole countercultural anti-war Vietnam thing is going on, a lot of drug use gets wrapped up in that.
Oh, sure.
In fact, the feds, like top-end scientists before World War II, were really researching this stuff, from psilocybin to LSD and everything in between.
Ketamine.
Yeah, that's right. Several documentaries out there about that.
I've done all of those, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, so I'll admit I've taken mushrooms before, and it's different than anything else I've ever.
You've never done ketamine before?
No.
Oh,
no,
really?
No.
Fascinating.
I guess they have therapies in states.
Oh yeah,
around
yeah.
here,
It's actually proven to be somewhat helpful to help people
deal with trauma.
Yeah. Ketamine is a big one. Psilocybin is apparently tremendous for getting people to quit smoking.
Yeah, psilocybin's different than anything I've ever ingested. It does. You still feel like you, but then you're able to disassociate in a way. Now, here's what I mean. What is a shame is that when the counterculture comes around, it becomes just another hippie party drug.
Right.
And I think we've been abusing as a society, or portions of society, what could be an incredibly powerful tool. And to your point, Craig, if people have that trip experience, like they're one with the universe, or they see God, or people describe it in those terms.
Mind open up, yeah.
Things like smoking cessation, people just stop smoking overnight and they never go back to it. Yeah. It truly is like going through a breakthrough born again experience in many ways. And that's what's remarkable about what this could do. In fact, Johns Hopkins did one study where they invited clergy members. I think that rabbis and priests and pastors, all sorts of folks come in, and they said, okay, number one, we're going to set up a nice environment. What sort of music do you want? You want to fire, how do you want to do this? And we want you to concentrate on a problem, an intellectual or emotional problem you've been trying to solve in your life for a long time and just haven't been able to do it. And without fail, every single clergy member who was a participant came back and said, oh yeah, this part of the doctrine that I thought was dead didn't make any sense, came to life for me. This moral conundrum I was faced working with a parishioner.
Open their mind up a little bit.
Like everyone came back and said this was a worthwhile, not just worthwhile, a life-changing experience. So if you can make this stuff available in, I would say, a controlled setting, that could be a remarkable thing for people, especially compared to what we try to give to folks right now.
Oh yeah, and that's the big distinction that I think needs to be made. And even with these hyper psychedelics, you even see less instances of it, much less so than with marijuana, of bringing on like an onset of, say, schizophrenia.
Right.
Which I think is actually a legitimate concern with marijuana use.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, when you look at the anti-anxiety medication that we prescribe, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, that I think have had disastrous effects on the mental and physical health of Americans, I think it is time to start considering these things. Now, certainly, it's not great if you just get blasted out of your mind on a regular basis, but it's almost, psychedelics almost have a self-regulating principle to them. I mean, it's like, you've never seen someone abuse mushrooms or LSD because you really can't. That you build up a pretty sufficient tolerance.
Yeah, it's diminishing returns pretty quick.
Yeah, like, so I'll give you an example. I used to do a lot of LSD, and it'd be free. 4 tabs would get me where I want to go for a good 10 hours.
Right.
The next day, I could take 7, 8, 9 and not get anywhere to where I was the night before. So it was almost self-regulating in that way. Now, again, I don't think that that's super helpful.
Right.
But if you were to say, I know people that take maybe a 1/4 tab of a strip of acid, and it does better thing for them than any antidepressant ever did.
Right.
And again, that's not an intoxicant. It's more of just like a little boost.
But
So I think it's worth exploring.
But in a guided, controlled setting, it is key, because there is such a thing as a bad trip.
Oh, yeah.
And if somebody's really dealing with some serious stuff in their head, watch out.
I am a world-class trip sitter. World-class. Oh, gosh, yes. My brother will dispute that, but he's wrong. I am world-class.
So you're like a shaman.
I'm essentially a shaman. The one thing I will tell you, because I'm quite sure that there is no such thing as a good trip sitter for someone when edible THC goes the wrong way.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone that can help you. Once you start spiraling there, you just kind of have to do what you're going to do.
And just to back up what you're saying about marijuana, THC, and schizophrenia, from what I see, I think it's very true in this sense that if you have some latent, like if you're prone to schizophrenia in some way, it will bring it out with heavy consumption.
Definitely.
Now, if somebody's not, it's probably not going to show up.
Yeah, and the thing is, the reason why that's almost like an unfruitful conversation is because there's no way to know. There's not a genetic marker we can tell and be like, hey, this person has a genetic proclivity towards schizophrenia, so they definitely shouldn't.
Right.
We kind of just don't know. So it's a tricky situation there. But what I think is fascinating is that you don't have that with these other psychedelics.
It is remarkable. But I would just say, hey, you get medical marijuana, you start hearing voices stop.
Yeah.
Don't keep going down that road. It's not going to end well. Yeah. Anyway, we got to hit this quick break. Hopefully have Michael Cohen on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or
205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
When your tax refund comes, put it on the floor and walk on it. Revitalize the look and feel of your home with new floors from Prattville Carpet. With faster and better service than the big box stores and luxury vinyl planks starting as low as $4.99 per square foot. You'll enjoy that tax refund turned flooring every single day.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Dial 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones to talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Joey. How are y'all?
Oh, we're surviving, having a good time. Did the rain finally subside?
It looks like it's not raining right now.
Yeah, I think I see
Although I'm
some.
told we had a little hail earlier.
Oh, all hail.
Really?
Oh, hail.
Man, you're saying some down-home things today. Heck up.
You might be a redneck.
Hey, let's talk about the grilling options you have there at Cohen's. We haven't talked about that in a second. What sort of products do you have there in terms of grilling outdoors?
Well, we have the nice Napoleon grills. We have the Kamado Joes. And then we have the Traegers. Traegers are really cool because they use the pellets. A lot of people like the pellets. You can get the pellets in different flavors to help flavor your meat or chicken, steak, but whatever you're grilling. And also, the cool thing, one thing I think is cool about the Traegers is that the way that they're set up and all the extra accessories that they have, it makes the cleanup very easy because you can put some trays up under the grill so it'll catch the grease and all the grease will run off. And it just makes everything much easier to clean. They've got a little bucket that catches the grease that runs out after it runs off. So it does make it easier for you to keep your grill clean. They also have that nice meat thermometer so that you can actually control it with your phone. It works with Bluetooth, and that way you can sit in the luxury of your home while it's raining and storming, and you can still be grilling outside without being in the elements.
It's almost like cheating.
Yeah,
I said
it
keyword
really is,
almost because it is. My dad has one of those Traegers, and dadgum, that's the way to cook. It's really good stuff. So
yeah,
folks, stop by Cohen's today. Of course, you can always go to thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard. Go see the grilling options they have. Heck, as you probably start looking at the grilling options, like, is there an outdoor TV here? How can I add to my, patio space? And be sure to find Michael or the team. Tell them that you heard Michael here on the show. And y'all are open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays?
That is correct.
Well, I appreciate it.
And we've also, on a different note, we've also got some great deals going on for Sonos. Sonos is running a sale. It starts today, and it runs for, I want to say it runs for 8 days.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And they've got some special prices on their sound bars. Certain models of sound bars, but it's not everything, but it is a lot of the line.
Well, that's a great brand, great products they got. So, folks, get by there to Cohen's and check it out, and we'll talk again Monday. Have a good weekend, Michael.
Hey, you too. Take care.
See you, bud.
Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. A few folks commenting. One guy, Delightful Baker, says, God is a better chemist than even the best biochemist on the planet. I can't disagree with that. Josh saying, there's ketamine therapy centers in Beeham, Dothan, and Huntsville. They infuse it to treat depression, anxiety, PTSD, and other diagnoses. I did not know that was in the state.
Neither did I.
Fascinating. Well, maybe something's in the works there. That's cool. Well, we got at this top of the hour break, final hour of news and views on a Friday after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Tornadoes ripping through a part of the country overnight. At least 3 people have been killed in Ohio, dozens more injured in parts of Kentucky, Indiana, and Arkansas. Very heavy snow, even by Colorado standards, some regions getting up to 4 feet. In Denver, nearly 1.5 feet of the white stuff. Meanwhile, officials say tens of thousands of people were without power through most of yesterday. A Russian missile attack blasted homes in the southern Ukrainian city of Odessa again overnight, followed by a second missile that targeted first responders who had arrived at the scene. Authorities now say the death count has reached at least 16, and another 53 people, mostly civilians, have been wounded. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy, it's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. With a frontal system approaching, we've got an increasing chance of rain and thunderstorms again today from time to time. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe, especially this afternoon and this evening. Today's high in the upper 70s. The rain will end in the overnight hours tonight. Tonight's low 61. On Saturday, the rain chances are very small during the daytime hours. Saturday's high in the mid-70s, then another round of scattered showers from time to time on Sunday with a high near 70. Much cooler by Monday. In fact, we could see some patchy frost late Monday night into early Tuesday with lows in the mid-30s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Got a lot of jobs to do this spring? Save now on Kubota's BX23S tractor loader and backhoe combo at Capital Tractor and check off that to-do list. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
The director of the Prattville Public Library is unexpectedly fired last night during a board meeting. Andrew Foster was unanimously voted to be terminated by the library board during its executive session. Foster is accused of revealing confidential information in violation of criminal law. Employees at the library were upset at this move, saying that Foster was responding to a public records request from a media group. Foster says that the information he shared was never confirmed to be privileged or confidential. Foster was put in the directorship just last summer following the resignation of the former director over the controversy that erupted within the Prattville library system over sexually explicit books being made available for minors. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The city of Gaston is getting $6.5 million for a construction project that will ultimately take Highway 411 over the Coosa River. The federal funds will start the pre-construction phase of this project. The ultimate goal is to have a mixed-use riverfront district built in that area. Alabama Congressman Robert Adderholt helped the city in securing the federal funds. The U.S. Postal Service is starting the installation of new blue collection boxes that have higher security elements installed within to stop mail theft. A total of 8,500 electronic locking boxes will be placed in areas where there's been high postal crime rates. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Get ready for CAFCO's Spring Open House, March 18th through the 23rd. We have lots of items to give you inspiration. New spring merchandise, home decor, silk florals, and much more. We'll have door prizes and daily deals all week. Saturday, March 23rd, enjoy refreshments and music by Brian Brantley, 11 till 1, and designer demonstrations at 1 p.m. Visit our Spring Open House for huge savings on our already low outlet pricing. CAFCO's Spring Open House, March 18th through the 23rd on the Wetumpka Highway.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the final hour. Craig Monger had to run, but we certainly understand. Eddie's still here hanging out, and there's this lovely woman in the studio right now with a... I got to start wearing a bandana. What do you think, Eddie?
Oh, yeah. Look a lot cooler.
If I wore a bandana?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's big. I got a lot of hair on me still.
You're letting it grow out.
Yeah, man.
I don't know about that.
I should start walking, or
Summer,
like a headband or some sort of thing.
It's going to get hot in the summer.
Well, I got to lose more weight because, you know. Remember the last time when I tried to cut my own hair?
Yes, I do, Joe.
Yeah, and it was very, very bad.
I didn't think it was that bad.
No, it was bad.
It gave some great material. I thought it was pretty good.
No, somebody, I guess it's after the State of the Union response, people were looking up Senator Brett.
Yeah.
And somebody liked an old photo where I'm in it, and it was right after the haircutting incident.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, man, who's that fat, bald, like...
You know, we talked a little bit about Scarlett Johansson playing Katie Britt.
Sure.
Off her. That's not the worst.
Oh, that's not a... Yeah.
And honestly, the side-by-side, kind of all right. I thought they did pretty good. I didn't see the skit. I just saw the picture
All
side
right.
by side.
The skit was okay.
Yeah.
The initial opening I thought was all right, but it ended up being like, look at the dumb conservative woman who wants you barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And it's just a little, yeah, whatever.
It's Alabama, dude. We are the stepchild of the U.S. and always have. And thank
What
God
do
for
you-
Mississippi.
What do you think of Alabamians who are like the first, though, to crap all over Alabama? Like they live here.
Self-haters?
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, we're such an embarrassment.
I get that way sometimes too, not the
Sure.
embarrassment point, but yeah, there's sometimes when I get so frustrated because it's Alabama a lot of times just small-minded thinking. And it's
Oh,
just
sure.
like,
Yeah, but you're like embarrassing to whom? Like,
we could do better.
Why do we give a almost, why do we give a crap what the New York Times thinks?
Oh, it's not that. It's usually what I don't give a crap about them, but it's things that I see or something maybe they pointed out that I wasn't aware of. I'm like, come on, man, we can do better.
Oh, sure. Oh, we definitely could do better. But I don't want it to go to the level of self-hate. You know what I'm talking about, where it's like we're just always so embarrassing and backwards.
No.
It's like if you hate it so much, move.
We've got a long way to grow.
Like Georgia's a little different.
Georgia, I don't know, man.
Step down, you go to Mississippi.
Yeah, you can do that. You look like a genius. You just ferry to Midland here in Alabama, move to Mississippi.
Tennessee ain't bad.
Tennessee ain't bad.
Though around that old metro area, that's going to get expensive in Huntsville, man.
Dude. But that's places it's building and growing like crazy.
So we'll see.
And we never had that big. I mean, Montgomery's always missed out on those kind of big, like the Atlanta airport. I was always told as a kid that was supposed to be Montgomery, but Mayor Farmer said no.
Think about it this way. You know, just being in a big city recently.
Yeah.
Do we really want that here?
Nope.
No, and I'm serious. Yes,
I am.
There's
too.
more food options. There's more things to do, entertainment, concerts, sports. When you have a big city, but there's a lot of costs to becoming that.
Just
Montgomery that you have known for most of your life, and I think this is why folks didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
it would have changed this place.
It would have changed it hugely. I wouldn't want the problems that come with it.
Right.
But of course, you want to see the success of it. But could you imagine what your rent would be if the airport was right where Montgomery Airport
I think one good model is Chattanooga. Another good model was like Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
They're not huge cities, but there's a lot going on. And I think Montgomery's biggest problem is, and I know this for a fact because I ain't getting any younger, but all the young folks who were my peers growing up here, most of them have left.
Yeah.
And they left pretty early and they didn't come back. And
so what are we missing? What are keeping
opportunity?
Why are your peers?
Job.
Opportunity as far as not jobs, but jobs you can actually afford to work at and have a living and a life.
Yeah. I mean, some folks I know went up to Ohio. Some folks went over to Atlanta.
That's a bit of a brain drain. Montgomery's always been a blue-collar town, and I think a lot of those white-collar jobs we just don't have. Birmingham, Huntsville North.
And then that's where the whole embarrassment factor comes up. It's like if we just go along with the progressive zeitgeist that seems to be taking over corporate America now, we'll get more jobs.
No. No. On so many levels. HR will get more jobs because they'll need more HR people to fire normal people.
Right.
But no.
But then one thing that's fascinating is there is a true Southern hospitality.
Very much so. And it's so funny when I run into people, whether they're from Alabama or in Alabama or not, a lot of times people say, you're from the South, aren't you? And they can just tell by your disposition. And we're much more friendly and open.
Well, what happened to me?
Spectrum.
What? I am a libertarian, so that's or whatever I am now.
No, but
I don't even know.
When you were
what
in Boston, were you always greeted like you are in the South generally, and especially if you're not from around here? But we greet people with "Hello, how you doing?" Because a lot of us want to fight that stereotype of they're dumb rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And before you know it, you talk a little bit too much to people.
And then you
bring
up the Coca-Cola, getting rid of the corona. Yeah, daggum. Crack an egg into a radiator. It'll last a few miles.
That or black pepper, either one.
Mm-hmm. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Now, there was this interesting breakdown. I want to play this by Peter St. Onge.
Okay.
This one is more focused, though, and I think there are a lot of people in this area who might know more about this than Peter St. Onge. I'll put it that way. But I think he does a great breakdown of the larger problem in America. You know, it used to be the classic American thing. In fact, a staple of democracy going all the way back to ancient Athens. Victor Davis Hanson's work on this is just phenomenal. There is something about you having to deal with the elements, compete with Mother Nature,
right?
That it forced you out of necessity to be more independent and to understand you can work your damnedest. You can work hard, and then bad luck just strikes. Yeah. That there are things outside of your control.
Yep.
But that independence and actually having to do the work and understand things in a practical way created amazing civic citizens. amazing like know-how when it came to first setting up governments, and that's who essentially set up America.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what America was for the longest time. But things have changed now. And what's changed? Well, I'll let Peter St. Onge spell it out.
If you dream of escaping the cubicle and starting a farm, new data says America's farmers are getting wiped out, leaving hollowed out communities that rival the Rust Belt. A few days ago, the USDA reported that the number of farms in America plunged by 140,000 in the past 5 years. That's roughly 2,500 farms going bust every month. They're mostly small farms, so farms earning below 50,000 dropped by almost 10%, while large farms, those earning over $1 million, actually grew by 36%. So what's driving the great extinction? Simple: rising costs, falling revenue, and green mandates. Together, according to the USDA, these are expected to crash farm income this year by another 25%, bringing income for the roughly 2 million farms in America to just over $110 billion. That's $55,000 per farm, not per farmer, per farm. For perspective, that's about 1/5 of revenue at Amazon.com for all the farms in America. Of course, the falling revenue is partly from productivity, better seeds, better machines, and those do reduce costs to consumers. But combined with relentless costs, up $17 billion last year alone, and rampant green mandates, they are driving farmers into the dirt. To give a flavor, the FDA admits that a single proposed rule on sustainability, the so-called produce rule, will cost a typical small farm $13,000 per year. That's 1/5 what they're making now for a single rule. And these rules are nonstop. There are thousands of them covering everything from renewable mandates to cow farts. In fact, Europe's farmers are currently blockading their cities for that very reason. The decline of American farming has been going on for decades, and it's accelerating. Since 1950, the number of farms in America have dropped by nearly 4 million, so that's about 2/3, while the number of acres under cultivation dropped by 1/4, an area roughly the size of the state of Texas. This has driven an exodus of population from farming areas, mirroring the Rust Belt collapse, also driven by government harassment of domestic producers. Together, they've depopulated great swaths of America, leaving abandoned main streets and empty town squares that used to be full of people on Sunday. Of course, these regulations and taxes don't only hit farms and manufacturers, they hit everybody from family restaurants to corner stores.
I'm going to pause it there because when I heard him say that this morning, when I first watched this, you know, I've not seen every nook and cranny of Alabama, but I've driven around the state some. And you go through, it wasn't abstract for me. I'm like, oh, I've seen those places. And they're beautiful, charming little towns, but the town square is just kind of gone.
Yep. A lot of places.
Like, what the hell are we doing to everyday people? What the hell are we doing? Let's keep going.
Leaving many of these depopulated towns essentially a crossroads with nothing but a gas station, a McDonald's, and a Walmart. Chain stores big enough to digest regulations that would bankrupt a family business. In fact, they often lobby for those regulations for that very reason. To give a sense, a recent study by the National Association of Manufacturers estimated that federal regulations alone cost large manufacturers, those with more than 100 workers, an average of $25,000 per employee, which is roughly half their salary. But those cost small companies, those with fewer than 50 workers, more than double that at $50,000 per employee. So the family business simply cannot compete with the chains because of the regulations alone. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The solution is as easy in farming as it is in manufacturing. Get rid of the mandates, the regulations, and the taxes on especially small business. Government has become a predator on the small businesses of America, and so long as that continues, they will keep hollowing out entire regions of the country from the Rust Belt to the Corn Belt. Read the rest of the article, charts and all, at profsaintonge.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, that's Peter St. Onge, and his breakdowns always good, but that one kind of hit home.
Yeah. Well, when I saw that, I guess it was yesterday when I saw the clip, started looking up cattle herds because I've heard that we've got less cattle herds than ever before. And it did say that our cattle herd in the U.S. is the smallest it's ever been since 1951. And the calf crop is the smallest it's been since 1940. So it's just continuing to go down. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, what's the line I keep repeating from Ayn Rand? Mistakes of this magnitude are not made innocently. Don't let them act like, oh, we didn't mean that. That's an unintended consequence. We didn't foresee that. Didn't foresee that at all. No, they know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And by they, I mean the managers in D.C. and a lot of the big corporates that, as Peter just said, lobby for this.
Yeah.
These are not acts of God. These are policy choices by people who, here's the kicker, manipulate you every time you go to the ballot box with emotion-laden propaganda. Both sides do it. And it's just an absolute shame. An absolute shame where we're at. Because America shouldn't be a McDonald's, a gas station, and a Walmart. But that's what we've become across so many beautiful swaths of land. And the beauty of this state, the beauty of this country is unreal when you really take the time to witness it. And I would think the older I get, say if I don't stay in Montgomery, I have no interest in going to live somewhere like Atlanta or Boston or even DC, or I don't have an interest in.
We say like Atlanta. What about like even in Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Say you worked in a town like that, but you had to live.
I don't
45 minutes away or so. Would you be willing to make that commute?
I don't like that commute.
Right.
Yeah, and after seeing Boston traffic, I've been through Atlanta
there you go.
traffic. No, thank you. Charlotte traffic I was in not too long ago. Not fun.
Because it's every day.
Right. So if I'm working in the city, I want to live in the daggum city.
Yeah.
And that could be fun. I'm a young single guy.
Sure. Fun for a while.
I think what would be more fulfilling is you find a great local community and you fit in. And, Jeff Dice was saying this yesterday about Montgomery. We're trying, and I want to give everybody their due who are trying. And by the way, I think next Wednesday, Andrew Szymanski will be
Szymanski's coming back. Oh.
There are a lot of folks who are trying.
Good stuff coming.
And it's not just their active, their public service. It's,
Fresh
entrepreneurships
ideas,
and fresh ideas and all that stuff's awesome. But Montgomery does lack a sort of neighborhood identity in many ways. I think Cloverdale comes to mind, as they seem to be doing it all right. But there's a lot that we could do better. And I think it's not just blame on individuals. I think it is just a staple now of where modern living is gone. But hey, maybe we can do a great local community thing here. A lovely woman named Ann just called off air.
Okay.
She asked, do y'all put out alerts about lost dogs? I said, yes, ma'am. The dog's name is Katie. It's a little Yorkie, like blonde, light tan, little Yorkie, lost in the Dalreda area near Camille Drive, Hickory Drive, the old Dalreda Park. So if you see this little Yorkie named Katie, you should be able to, there's a number for the vet. If you want to get in touch with them, we also have Ann's number here right in front of me. But be on the lookout for a little Yorkie, responds to the name Katie. Again, light tan little thing in the Dalreda area. Ann is looking for her baby back. We got to hit this break. Be right back ourselves.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Is spring cleaning making your floors feel, well, a little worse for the wear? Don't just clean them, upgrade them. Carroll's Carpet Flooring America can help you transform your home with beautiful new flooring and countertops. Carroll's Carpet is locally owned and operated, so you're supporting the community. At Carroll's Carpet, you'll get expert advice to help you find the perfect flooring, hardwood, carpet, laminate, tile, or even luxury vinyl. They'll work with you to create the exact look you've been dreaming of. Carroll's Carpet, new floors this spring, makes your whole home sing. carrollscarpet.com on the Northeastern Boulevard.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. How was your anniversary sale, Dot?
It was just wonderful, and I want to thank everybody that came out. It was a great time. It meant so much to me for it to be 30 years, and y'all just came out and made my day.
Well, spring is almost here. Is Eastbrook ready?
We're beginning to get the patio tables and chairs out. We've got so much there. It's hard to put it into a minute commercial. You just got to come see what we got. We've got 3 floors and 60,000 square feet. So just come see us, because we probably got a sale or 2 going, and our merchandise is pretty reasonable, I think. We don't charge a commission to the vendors, and so our prices are able to be a little bit less than some other places.
Give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday, 10 until 6. Saturday, 9 until 6. And Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
So y'all come on by and see us. We'd love to have you.
Independent Glass has been your one-stop shop for all things glass since 1978. They offer a full range of architectural products, and they're armed with the knowledge and expertise to get even the most demanding job done, big or small. Attention to detail, 24-hour replacement services, and their uncompromising commitment to excellence is why Montgomery's first choice for all things glass is Independent Glass. Call them today at 263-2823 and learn more about what they can do for you at independentglassco.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, guys, two things start to happen as we get older. Erectile dysfunction, bedroom problems.
Right.
And, maybe if this girl broke your heart into 1,000 pieces and you've been drinking a little whiskey, it was a one-time thing, you're probably fine.
Okay.
But if you're continually having problems, it's not something to be ashamed about, be embarrassed about. It's not something to wait to get fixed either.
Agreed.
And it could also be an underlying issue, more than just ED. It could be that you're having low testosterone problems. So what are the symptoms of low T? No motivation,
right?
Lack of energy and drive, including a decreased sex drive. You're just in a fog, walking through life in a fog.
Bad sleep pattern.
No, that's no fun.
Nope.
Maybe you're going to the gym, but you're still seeing a loss of muscle mass and weight gain. Well, it could, in fact, be low T. And there are a lot of guys walking around who don't know they have low T. Doctors are even recommending that young men, get their T checked starting at the age of 18, at least annually.
Wow.
But it's not just guys getting older. That's a natural thing. Even younger men are experiencing low testosterone problems. So the providers at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido.
Gotta like that.
Gotta like that. Sex drive and overburn.
There you go.
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, you can't even talk. It's just going so much.
That's right.
You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today. Now, speaking of testosterone and, like, manliness.
Yeah.
What do you think Mike Tyson's testosterone's at?
I think it's off the chart.
Cooking?
Yeah.
More than cooking?
In a cauldron. A big witch's cauldron. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, let's do it to it like lighter fluid. That's how his tea is doing.
I remember even when I was in my 20s, we would have the casual conversation, the bro conversation. Would you take a punch from Mike Tyson? Even at $5 million, I would not take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Well, I just pulled it up on the stream. Again, it can be Joey Clark Live on YouTube, like and subscribe, or at the Joey Clark on the X platform. And a video was just put out of Mike Tyson training for his fight with Jake Paul.
Okay.
Jake Paul, somebody asked me, is he an accomplished fighter? I'm like, he's not bad. And I'll give the guy credit. Like, I wouldn't want to get in the ring myself with Jake Paul.
Me neither.
Like, he could he could hurt somebody, but like an average guy. Like, I think he'd be a pretty good fighter.
Just don't let him get close enough.
It's Mike Tyson. And so, yeah, I know you're a lot younger than Iron Mike, but let's, this video just came out.
Day 2, we're getting ready for you. One, two, three, four.
Okay, look, for $5 million, I ain't his spar partner, and he's padded up. I didn't know.
In fact, let's go back to this. Look where the spar partner's like, the little pads that you put on the hands.
Dude,
yeah,
it's Mike Tyson.
Right. He hit it so hard it flew off his hand, and he's gum. He saw his life.
He literally walked him across the room. No.
Yeah, that guy saw his life flash before his eyes there for a second. You ready, Jake Paul? That's unreal.
Amazing.
He's gonna die.
But Jake Paul, to give him his credit, he keeps calling folks out. He does keep winning. Somebody eventually is gonna have to take him down, and if hey, more power to him.
Right.
But I think Tyson's gonna take him down. And maybe I'm just an old guy and I want to see an old guy whoop some young kid's butt. I don't know, but I really think Tyson's gonna take him down.
I wouldn't. I think he has a death wish.
But they have so many rules too that I think there's like no knockout punches.
Oh, really?
I don't care. I still wouldn't fight Mike Tyson if he said, "I'm not going to knock you out."
Well, so, like, you can get body blows, or what's a non-knockout punch from Tyson?
Thank you.
Like, I don't, obviously, the chin, like rattle the head, but if you get hit here, anywhere in the head with one of those things,
dude, just no. Just no.
And
I like the Mike Tyson that used to be the pigeon farmer. The nice, calm Mike Tyson.
Here, I'm going to play.
Give the guy some weed.
Let's watch this again. Like, if he walked up to you, you know you got to go in the ring against him, and he goes up, day 2, day 2.
Day 2, we're getting ready for you. One, two, three, four.
Okay, I start getting my new identity ready as I begin to flee. Dude.
Man, how old is he? Like
58, I think. Or I know he's old. I'm 54. I think he's 56 or 58.
He's moving quick.
Dude. And everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody's got a few minutes in you. Now he's trained. He's got more than a few minutes in him.
Right, and he said he started a weed company. He smokes so much weed because he's like...
Because he's smoking so much because it was breaking him. And it's still not calming him down.
Like, he talks about how he's like a literal killer.
Yeah.
Like, that's where his mind was at.
If you watch some of his old podcasts, there's a couple where he's messing with people, but you can't tell, and they can't either. And he just starts giving them that look. And every one of them will be, hey, man, hey, I'm sorry. Did I say something? He's like, I'm just messing with you, man. He's a killer, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess
Iron
with
Mike
that.
Tyson? No.
Like, we'll see how we're going to watch that.
I wouldn't want, oh, yeah. I wouldn't want him dating my daughter either.
Yeah? No, you wouldn't?
No, because one day my daughter's going to be like, you know what he said? And I'll probably have to go, you know what? You probably deserve it.
Right. Right. Now, this is an interesting clip. Are you aware of a guy named Konstantin Kisin?
Not off the top of my head, but that's...
He's now a Brit, but I think he's from Ukraine.
Okay.
But he's a comedian and also a bit of a cultural political commentator. Has a podcast called Trigonometry. We've talked about that before because you thought I said trigonometry.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's trigonometry.
Trigger.
And
someone who's been triggered. I'm familiar with that.
And this is a fascinating conversation on Western Civ and like why all of a sudden do people seem to be hating Western civilization? Like we're the bad guys who should feel incredibly guilty.
Haters gonna hate.
You could put it that way.
I'm not. No, we're not perfect, Joey. But haters gonna hate.
Well, let's listen in. This is, I think, a great little discussion.
This self-criticism that we see about the nation. Why is it that in Western civilization we have so much trouble with nationhood?
You've spent 60 years teaching your children to hate your own civilization. Why are you surprised that they hate your civilization? Sorry, but that's what's happened.
It worked.
It worked, and absolutely. And by the way, it's not just hate. It's hard to teach people to hate. What's much easier is to lie to them about history. So in the UK, for example, in England, there's this We have the Church of England, I think, has just approved £1 billion worth of reparations because we talk endlessly about slavery, and the narrative on slavery in seems to me to be, there was no slavery, and then the British Empire came along and invented slavery, and then woke people came along and ended slavery. When, of course, we all know what actually happened, which is slaves were probably the first good that human beings ever traded. Never had anything to do with racism, by the way. It was a fact of life that conquered peoples would be subjugated by others and used as labor and would be traded. Native Americans kept slaves, and so did everybody else throughout history. The British Empire practiced slavery just like everybody else. Because of their superior technological advantage, they were able to move slaves across oceans in a way that others weren't. And then the British ended slavery, not only within the borders of their own realm, but also spent a tremendous amount of blood and treasure to force the trans-Saharan slave trade, which was much worse, lasted longer, had a higher death rate. The men were all castrated. The women were taken as sex slaves. They forced that slave trade to end at tremendous diplomatic, military, and monetary cost. And so, this idea that we must eternally apologize for the sins of the past seems to me absolutely ridiculous. Now, does that mean we shouldn't recognize that those things were bad? Yes, of course we should, and we should acknowledge and learn from them. But it seems to me very odd. I made this point in the book. I have a whole chapter on slavery in it, which is, imagine if you have to, that, 50 years from now, we're all going to be vegan because they get their way, right? Because eating animals is this terrible crime. Would we then say that the people who ended that practice were the most evil in history? That wouldn't make any sense at all. I think we would say, well, this is the first empire in the history of the world that ended this practice we now consider immoral. Good on them. And by the way, did so for moral reasons. I mean, the abolitionists in England were people who were motivated by a different morality that was developing, which said something about the value of the individual. So the idea that we would denigrate our history in this way, to me, seems absurd. And every civilization in history, every great empire in history is built on conquest. This is how the world is. This is human nature. And to pretend otherwise, I think, is very unwise.
Smart guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is remarkable how folks don't understand what most of human life and history has been.
Just how soft and how good we've got it, how soft we've become.
Yeah.
And we're on a race. That's what kills me. We're on a race to be softer. I mean, the world is against people that are hard. Joe, you're just too mean.
Right.
We need soft.
Right.
We need safe spaces.
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, and you got to wonder, that CIA guy I was talking about.
He's got other stuff, too. He's pretty good, though.
Yeah, he's good. But he was asked, and it's kind of a rude way they asked, like, who's the easiest race to trick?
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
And he's like, well, if you mean like nationality, not like ethnic race, but like if you mean like somebody's nationality, by far Americans.
Yep.
Again, because we have it very easy. Now, am I really complaining about how easy I have it? Not really, but it's good to have the perspective of how the easiness came about. And we seem to have gone off the rails. The discussion we constantly have on this show is, we were having it today, how the working class, the middle class are getting squeezed and if not screwed outright by, say, the ruling elite. It used to be we were a nation, and I think this is where all the wealth really did come from, of saving and investment.
Correct.
We've become instead a nation of debt and consumption. And that's not going to be sustainable, especially when the number one country now producing all your stuff that you're consuming is China.
Yeah.
Something's got to give here. But then you end up in the problem of, well, we got it so easy, why would we change it until the actual crap hits the fan?
But a big reason a lot of people have it so easy, Joey, you can bust your butt like you do, make good, decent money. But that somebody else doesn't have to work at all. And their benefit package, just a couple $1,000s less than yours. They don't have to do anything. And that, to me, that's so frustrating because you've taken away anyone's ability, or you've just taken the incentive out to do anything great in life. Why even try? Especially if I'm told that I can't do it anyway. Why even try?
Well, and that leads me.
Well, you're not just supporting you; you're
Right.
supporting them.
Right.
So whether you like it or not, you've got to depend it.
No, it's like Reagan's Little Red Hen.
Yeah,
era.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, and this is what happens under socialist schemes.
Yeah.
Is that it always ends up this way, where in the name of fairness and equity, you actually end up with more unfairness and a huge inequity in power. Because there's always got to be a ruling elite to decide what's fair and what's equitable. And those folks will wield unruly power more than they ever have now. And, there's also an interesting conversation went on this week with Joe Rogan and a guy named James Lindsay. Lindsay's been on the show. And James Lindsay has been trying to help people understand that, yes, what China is still communist. But what about all the big capitalist corporations? It's like, that's what they figured out, and that's what they're trying to do to the West, and in particular the United States of America. They realize, you can still have markets. You can still have these big corporations that produce a lot of stuff. But what you do is you get the party line everywhere, and you enforce it to the hilt.
Yep.
They do it in China. Like, it doesn't matter what institution, you have to talk the Communist Party talk. So you got to, well, how are they doing it here? That's what ESG and DEI is. A lot of folks look at it on the surface level. Why wouldn't you want a diverse workforce? I'm not against that in a common sense way. I think everybody with a brain, say if you're trying to hire, you want to hire from the largest possible pool of talent.
But I still want the best and brightest.
Yes.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with finding out I'm not the best and brightest and I need to go back to work?
And the worst part of this, remember Animal Farm, where all the animals made the rules after overthrowing the farmers, and then the rules kept changing.
Of course.
All of a sudden, like, was it that way yesterday? The problem with, say, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or with, environmental, social governance scores for big corporations, is that the rules are arbitrary.
Right.
And they're enforced by the club. It's why when Elon Musk buys X, all of a sudden his ESG score goes down for Tesla. Huh?
Right.
It almost seems like this is just arbitrarily about power and enforcing a particular ideology to control people.
It is.
And it's a shame that this is where the new best and brightest have decided to take things. And 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro Services, Ashley and her team do amazing work. And you know what? She just got great recognition, right, Eddie?
Yes, she did, Joey. Yes, she did.
What, the...
let me pull up, but
40
top
under
40 under 40.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, there's only a few people that are even eligible for that, much less how many people in Millbrook, Alabama.
Right. Well, and it's just a testament to not only the great work they do in pest control, but she is a wonderful person who has built up a great business and then is giving back even more to the community. I'm the type of things, business is already providing a service, but giving back again is a whole other thing.
Above and beyond, man.
And this is why it's just wonderful to see Ashley getting that recognition.
Go check her out. You'll see it on the Facebook page. It's great to see her there, all dressed up, getting her award with other 40-year-olds that are successful. I actually know a couple of them in the group, which makes me feel good. I feel like an old man, but makes me feel good. Good people over there, Joey. And what about their services, Joey? Let's say, Joey, you wake up tonight, because it's a season, and you go to the bathroom and you run into the swarm of termites. You want to call her?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
265-9990.
But now you know how to prevent that? You call her ahead of time. You call her before that happens, Joey.
Yes, you get the inspection done.
Exactly.
Because also, if you're getting a swarm, it probably means they've gotten into the sticks of your house.
Yeah, they're in there good.
Yeah, that's going to be real expansive.
Yep.
So Homeowners insurance doesn't cover that termite treatment or termite property damage. So you might as well pay for the treatment up front. It's going to save you a lot of money. And Pest Pro has a great way of going about it. It's almost like they're laying down bait. So when the termites hit that bait, Pest Pro will know and come and take care of them. But of course, it's not just termites. It's mosquitoes are coming back with a vengeance. With this heat and this rain today.
Oh, mosquitoes are at 100%.
Ooh, fire ants will be coming back with a vengeance. Wasps, yellow jackets, all sorts of stuff. So if you need that sort of help, Pest Pro Services, best in the game. Again, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. What do you want to know? Call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and her team that Joey and Eddie, those fellows on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The Veterans Access to Care bill, now in the Alabama State Legislature, will relieve the overwhelmed federal VA healthcare system and provide the specially tailored care that veterans need.
Paid for by the Alabama Council of Chapters Military Officers Association of America, Mobile.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Mike Costanza with Chappie's Deli.
And Jeff Baranko with Chappie's Deli.
One of the reasons Chappie's Deli has been around for over 32 years is Blue Water Broadcasting.
Yes, it is, and we have the perfect faces for radio.
We sure do. And if you have a perfect face for radio, call Blue Water.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. The front that has entered the state today will bring at least the risk of more scattered showers and thunderstorms well into the evening hours tonight before ending in the overnight hours. Some of the storms strong, possibly severe, with a low tonight down to about 61. On Saturday, the rain chances are not 0, but very small, 20% or less, I would say. Saturday's high in the mid-70s, and then another round of scattered showers on Sunday with a high near 70. Much cooler Monday. In fact, we could be headed for patchy frost again late Monday night into early Tuesday, the first day of spring. Temperatures falling back to the 30s for lows. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Ahoy there, landlubbers! Is your stomach yearning for some great seafood? Or maybe it's a meat and 3 you're craving. So set sail for Little Fish Tail Seafood Bar and Grill, the undisputed champion of deliciousness in Lake Jordan and Slapout. We're talking great food, fantastic drinks, and fabulous music.
They're like pirates with spices, creating flavor combinations that'll make your taste buds do a jig. Go see them on Lightwood Road or call 543-4561. Don't forget a free grab bag for the little ones.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, he's Eddie.
Hey, Joey.
And we have Miss Love on the line. Hey, Miss Love, how you doing?
Hi, how you?
Doing all right.
Good. Who you talking about moving to?
Wait, say that again?
Where you were thinking about moving to?
Oh, I was just thinking about the future. Like, do I want to stay in Montgomery proper or hop over to Millbrook or Pike Road or try completely new digs altogether, different city, different state even. But I don't know. Just, I'm not getting any younger, Miss Love, and I got to put down roots eventually.
Well, I asked because I'm trying to move too. So I thought maybe you had the perfect place.
I hadn't figured it out yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I do.
Okay, then. And hopefully, if you take the paper, look at the article that says Alabama veterans lean on faith during military service. Okay?
Okay.
That's an interview they did on me.
Well, I'm glad you got that notoriety there, and that's a great message right there, too.
Yes, God is good, ain't he? Y'all have a blessed one, okay?
You too. You too. Thank you, Miss Love. Let's go to... Oh, is this the man?
This is the man.
Ray Bowles from Prattville Corporate. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're great. And, earlier, I just want to tell you that Craig Monger said he never wants to get on the wrong side of you. He's like, that guy, Ray's a man.
No, we're business owners.
You're right. That makes sense.
There you go.
You know, and everything is in life is a business, and it's got to be ran.
There you go.
Good, bad, or indifferent, you got to handle it.
There you go. So
yeah, after 30 years of doing this, it just makes me where I'm a lot more stiff than I used to be.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm too old. I don't have the patience for it.
Don't have the patience, right?
Yep, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna do the job 110%, and we ain't gonna do it. And that is the story of my life. I love to do everything 110%. If I can't put 110% in it, I don't want to be around it. And if you're putting your floors down, I want to do them, and I'm going to do it 110%. Now, when it comes to finding this troll, I'm probably going to be 150%, try to help retain some of my losses.
So, Joey, what we can do is we can put a tracker on Ray's car, and just let him find the troll for us. And there's beat him to it.
Do you want it? Do you want the 110%?
No,
coming at you.
No. Now that you mention it.
No. I tell you what, I'm very excited. Morgan is so really excited over the troll.
Even better.
The troll is going to be a lot of fun. Bill Gillespie was talking to him yesterday about it, wanting to know if the city employees can join in. I said, absolutely. Actually, he called to make sure I wasn't going to put it in the park.
Wait, so for folks who weren't listening yesterday, lay this out again, the rules of this.
Okay, so here's what we're doing to do something fun for the community, and this is for Montgomery, Wetumpka, wherever you live. If you're driving distance and you want to come to Prattville, we are going to hide a troll in Prattville somewhere, and it's going to be in a spot that you can get to 24 hours a day.
Okay.
So that does knock out the city parks.
Okay.
Because they're closed in the evening.
That's right.
Time.
That's right.
If you find the troll, you win $1,000.
What?
And yes, $1,000. It's not a gift card. It's not boring. I'm gonna write a check with your name on it, hand it to you, and say congratulations.
Money, baby. We can do
But
something
to
with that.
find the clues to where this thing is, you're going to have to go on our Facebook page, or you're going to have to go to our website.
All right.
And every 3 days, one's going to drop on one of those 2 sites. And they'll stay up from that point on. They'll be up there till somebody finds this thing and brings it in to me. And you can't bring me just a troll in, because I'm going to put something on there that identifies the correct troll.
All right, that idea's out too. Then okay.
Yeah, that's
So
not the
don't
Bowles
get sneaky.
troll.
Right.
Yeah. Don't get all sneaky and bring me a troll and say, "Did I win?" Because I'm going to say, no, that's not it.
Okay.
It's going to have a mark on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It gets people out to evening to enjoy the city and walk around the city looking for this thing, and take the kids out, enjoy the after evening, go out to one of our local restaurants. And I would highly recommend, if you've never eaten Uncle Nick's, you might want to hit that one. Or Cowabunga's. Man, they make the best hamburgers in town. And try to find this troll. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to this.
And of course, you're still selling flooring options, carpet, and whatnot.
Absolutely. Give us a call, 285-8117. We'll come out, you for a measurement, and next thing you know, you got a new floor down. Just that simple.
Again, that number, 285-8117, and be sure to tell them when you call that you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, y'all have a great day.
You too, Ray. See you, brother.
Good man right there.
I got so many ideas, but okay, I had to strike down buy box of trolls.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
was
gonna
going to tell him, like, if you, Eddie, brought one of your counterfeit trolls
Yeah.
up to him, you'd be like, oh, no, Eddie, you found the one where you have to pay me $1,000.
That'd be my luck.
Yeah.
That would be my luck.
Right, exactly.
I'm still working on it, though. But this is really cool. He's doing that for the community.
That is a fun thing for the community. So did we learn anything today?
Oof. 32 hours is what Bernie Sanders is pushing for.
What a dope. Like, and it's, if you're working and you kind of sounds great. It's like, wait, more
Sure.
overtime pay
Sure.
and time and a half double pay.
All right, let's say this. When businesses lay off, like in the auto industry, when we cut back a few times, the work got done. We just had to do it with less employees. So what do you think is going to happen when all of a sudden they go, hey, you only want 32 hours of work but 40 hours worth of pay? Yeah, work's fixing to get a lot harder for somebody.
Or what's going to happen is somebody's going to have no money.
Yeah.
And no job and no hour.
Hey, what's that big crate of a robot you bringing in here?
Right.
Oh, my replacement?
And that's what's so amazing. He cited worker productivity. And it's like, Bernie, do you not understand what you're talking about?
He doesn't. And why should he?
Right.
That's not his specialty.
Right.
He's picking out good-looking women. Good Lord.
What?
Did you ever see his wife?
Bernie's wife?
Woofka.
Woofka?
Yeah.
Oy vey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I see why he's so miserable.
Yeah, but have you seen him? Have you heard him?
I'm still telling you, she stepped up. She outpunted the coverage there, buddy.
And really, I want Bernie to be back in the news cycle more often because I want to see Larry David.
You want to see those moments like yesterday?
I want to see Larry David do an impersonation.
I love how he just dismissed her, then did a 360 and came back and got her again.
And we also learned that it looks like the whole fight over mass mail-out balloting and drop boxes, all that's going to be in play at a lot of crucial states. How lovely.
Oh, it's going to get chaotic.
To go through that again. You know, one thing we never really got to this week, don't really have time now, 2 minutes. Did Boeing whistleblower John Barnett, John, did Boeing whistleblower John Barnett really commit suicide?
Nope.
His lawyers want answers.
I don't know. I thought about this last night. I don't know if it was Boeing that necessarily did it, but he created fear in the entire airline industry.
Somebody killed that guy.
No doubt.
No
doubt. But Joey, the suspects, the entire airline industry. And then did you see the reporting? And it's an undercover deal where they were talking to workers from Boeing, and as they're getting off a plane they're working on, building, they said, hey, would you fly on that? Nobody said nothing nice. Nobody said they would fly on it. Most of them said, hail to the gnaw.
Well, and one thing we never got to the details of, 80-year-old man in Montana, he pleads guilty to using cloning to make giant mutant bighorns.
There's some big sheep, man.
And, it's a little unreal what
Dr.
he's created
over there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, don't be doing that. Because the one I'm seeing him hold here, that looks like that doesn't look like a normal thing.
No,
that's a freakish
immediately tells
thing.
you something's up with that.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a little touched.
Yeah, a little bit,
just a little bit. Yeah. Well, let's get out of here,
All
shall
right,
we? Appreciate the week of listening. Appreciate all the love, especially on the X platform on the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you can go to @the Joey Clark on the X platform, or you can watch on YouTube. Like and subscribe, Joey Clark Live there on YouTube. And this is kind of how we do it each week, but got a feeling we're going to get a bigger cast of characters as we head into the real meat of the election cycle ahead of us, and it should be a lot of fun. And don't forget, we've got a big guest. I think Dick Brubaker joining us next week.
Excellent.
He is in the runoff against Caroline Dobson, and so we'll be continuing to interview all the folks jockeying to be your next congressman here in Alabama District 2. But hey, let's get out of here.
All right, bro.
Greg Budell, Rosie Brock, happy hour. Hey, you're there too.
I'll be there too. So Jake Quillen.
Woo! Full house. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. United States sending a very strong warning to Iran that major Western economies will pile new sanctions on Tehran if it moves forward with a plan to provide ballistic missiles to Russia. Iran denies any wrongdoing. Ukrainian officials say